This conference will now be recorded.
So today we'll be doing the demo session for VLSI front-end training. We also call it as pre-synthesis training. As we go forward, we will understand that the VLSI design flow has one important step called as synthesis. Anything that we do before that is pre-synthesis, also called as front-end domain. Anything that we do after synthesis, called as post-synthesis, that is the back-end domain. So today's session will be more focused on the pre-synthesis, that is the front-end domain experience. So first let's start. So I'll just start with the agenda, overall agenda. We'll be starting off with understanding what all courses are starting today. It's not just one course. There are almost 4 to 5 different courses we are starting today. And just a quick overview of the institute. Then what all courses are offered. Then courses in pre-synthesis and post-synthesis. And how do you choose the right course? With so many domains, let's say in software there is no confusion. There is only development and testing. Right? If you have to choose a course in software, you have to just decide between whether you want to go for development or you have to go for testing. If it is development, then you will start off with learning C, C++, Java. If it is testing, you will start learning with the manual testing or test automation, right? So you have a very simple path there. You don't have a lot of confusion. When it comes to VLSI, there is 1 second. Let me check. Please come. So when it comes to VLSI, there are multiple domains in VLSI. Uh, as you know, VLSI has front-end domain and back-end domain. Each domain in itself has subdomains. So we'll understand how do we choose the right course. Then the course overview for different courses. Then the institute facilities and the placements and little bit into the technical aspects of the functional verification. What are all courses are starting today? Let us understand that. So courses starting today are the one is the RTL design and functional verification training. Uh, each same course is also called as front-end training for freshers. The same course is called as functional verification training for freshers. Same course is the ASIC verification. All these four courses refers to the same course. Sometimes we call it as a student asks, I want to do training in functional verification. So we won't confuse him, right? We'll tell it's a functional verification course. Someone says, I want RTL design and verification. So it's the same course. Okay. So that means into the functional verification, we teach the RTL design also. This is one of the courses that's starting. Other than that, we are also starting a course for experienced engineers, the functional verification for experienced engineers. Someone who is working in the industry uh, doesn't get the entire flow exposure. Let's say you are working in a project, let's say in Qualcomm. They don't get to work on everything from the specification till they do the verification completion. They only work on one small aspect of the project. So here in this course, that kind of experienced people get that entire exposure, okay, and in a more in-depth manner. Other than that, we are also starting a course on Verilog for design and verification, system Verilog for functional verification. Then we are also starting course on FPGA design and verification. This Verilog for design and verification is for someone who is pursuing their third year BTech or fourth year BTech and just want to start into VLSI. For them, this will be a good course. We don't suggest them this full course because it will be very long for them to do. Rather, they can spend 2 months, 1 or 2 months, and do the Verilog course. Same thing for system Verilog course. Then we are also starting a course on FPGA design and verification. Then we are also starting course on RTL design and integration and DFT. So many courses are starting. Now you may ask why all of them same day is because they all fall into one category called as front-end domain. They require some common basics. Digital design is one of the common skill set everyone requires. Verilog is one of the common skill set everyone requires. GVIM, there are some common skill set which all these people require. Because of that, what we do is we start the courses at the same time so that we can utilize our resources in a proper manner. And it is difficult to do 10 demo sessions, right? We do one common demo session. Then for people who are interested in DFT, there will be a demo session tomorrow at 4 p.m. The people who are interested in FPGA, there is a FPGA specific demo session. So specific to each topic, we'll again conduct the demo session. uh, this demo session is from 9:30 to 12:30. And those who are interested in DFT demo session, it will be from 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. on Sunday. That is tomorrow. It will be from 4 p.m. Our admin will send you the details regarding the demo session also. Just a brief about my profile. I mean, my name is Srinivas Reddy, and I am the founder of the institute. And I have done my dual degree from IIT Madras. And I have 12 plus years of training experience. I have been teaching since 2012, and I've been continuously teaching. And I was working both for 7 years. I was working and teaching both. Then in 2019, I have quit my job and I'm now full time into the training. I would have personally trained almost 3,000 plus students in different batches, and around 14 plus years of working experience in the industry. And I'm also a lead trainer for Mentor Higher Education Program. So this is a brief about my profile. So it's not just one trainer. I'm not the only trainer in the institute. We are almost 20 plus trainers for different subjects, like someone for FPGA, someone for physical design, someone for DFT. So with varying levels of expertise, we collectively offer the courses. Uh, Now, before let's now get into the demo session overview. Uh, First, let's start off with understanding the electronic systems. Because before getting into what is Verilog, what is functional verification, let's try to start from the top. What exactly is the electronic systems? What constitutes an electronic system? For example, mobile is an example of electronic system. What is there inside a mobile phone? Right? Then we'll come down to VLSI. What exactly is VLSI? Then inside VLSI, what all domains are there? Accordingly, you will have a bigger picture. Then you can choose the right course that is suitable for you. So if you take an electronic system, so let's start with understanding what goes into a mobile phone. Tell me, what all things goes into a mobile phone? So I show you, this is what mobile phone is, and if you open it, this is how it looks like. You could see that it has got some processors, it has got some graphics unit, graphics processing unit, GPU. What else will be there? Some memories will be there, DDR memory. What else will be there? Some peripherals like USB, PCI Express, different components. What you see here, modem will be there, multimedia subsystem will be there, camera subsystem will be there. All that put together is what is your mobile phone. Let's say camera subsystem is not there, so you can't use the camera. Let's say multimedia subsystem is not there, you can't speak, you can't listen to the video, you can't listen to the audio, you can't see the video because multimedia subsystem is not there. Okay, let's say USB control is not there, you can't do the USB connections. So for mobile phone to work, all those things are required. What do we mean by all those things? The peripheral subsystem, processors, the interconnects, the subsystems, everything is required, is what collectively makes the mobile phone hardware. Okay, so if you look at that, what all things do you see? What all things that make up the mobile phone? Chips, processors, screen, USB port, camera, sensors, audio, speaker, various things. What we call as the hardware. That we collectively call it as hardware, right? Whatever you see is the hardware. Uh, you see, there are things which we don't see also. Means mobile, when you say mobile phone, you think of only hardware. But then there are things which we do not see. What are those things? Let's understand. For example, operating system is there. Can you use a mobile phone without operating system? For example, Android is there, iOS is there. Without that, can we use a mobile phone? Right? So this is one of the things that makes the overall system. Other than that, you have got firmware. Firmware is also called as drivers. You might have heard embedded systems. People will use the term drivers, USB drivers, PCIe drivers. So that is what I'm calling as the firmware. Again, without firmware, I can't use the mobile phone. Any electronic system you take, there will be a firmware. Finally, what you have on top of everything, you have the applications. What are all the applications in your mobile phone? WhatsApp is an application. PhonePay is an application. Even SMS that you send is an application, which is all running on the operating system, right? So if you think of overall electronic system, overall system, what are all there at very basic level? You have the hardware. Above hardware, what you have? Firmware. The drivers, what we call as. Above drivers, you have got operating system. Above operating system, you have what? What is that you have above operating system? The applications. The apps that you install it on the operating system, right? So let's again revise. What is there at the very basic level? Hardware. Above hardware, what is there? Tell me. You have got the firmware that is called as embedded system drivers. Then above drivers, what you have? Operating system. It can be Android, it can be iOS, anything. Above Android, iOS, what you have? Application. All the applications you could get from Google Play Store and all those things, right? So this is what constitutes one entire system. As a VLSI engineer, tell me, which one are we interested? Are we interested in hardware? Are we interested in OS, firmware, or applications? Which one are we interested as a VLSI engineer? We are interested in hardware. Our responsibility as a VLSI engineer is to manufacture the hardware. We don't need to manufacture OS. Are we responsible for developing OS? No. Are we responsible for developing firmware? No. Same thing, not even applications. We are responsible for developing the hardware. So where do we fit into the ecosystem? Let's understand. Let's say these days you hear of artificial intelligence. So where exactly hardware comes into picture there? Tell me, where exactly the hardware comes into picture? For when I go to chat GPT, okay, I go to chat GPT, okay, I ask a question, some question, it will give me the response. Where exactly is hardware involved? Everything is happening on the browser only, right? I'm opening the browser, I'm asking the question, and it's giving me the response. Where exactly is the hardware involved there? Is there hardware involved at all? Yes or no? It is involved, right? Where is it involved? Somewhere they have kept all the data. I mean, chat GPT, whatever you say, it has kept all the data somewhere in the server, and there are a lot of hardware which is able to understand the question, and that hardware is able to fetch the information and return you the data. Without that hardware, nothing will happen. Without the hardware, nothing will happen. It's like a person without body, a soul without body. So body is like the hardware. Same is the role of a hardware in any system. The hardware is the one finally which does everything. The operating system and the embedded driver give instructions to the hardware what to do. So let's go a little deep and understand the role of this. My idea is, yeah, Dave, please ask your question.
Yeah, hi sir. Good morning. I think someone is on mute himself, so that the background noise is so noisy actually, and your voice is not clear
One second.
actually. Yeah, thank you.
Voice is not. 1 second.
Yeah, yeah. I
Now
think
is
he mute. Yeah, yeah.
okay.
It's
Yeah,
clear now.
sorry.
Thank you.
Now is it good?
Yes, Sunny.
Okay, fine. Yeah, got it right. Okay, next. Let us talk about mobile phone only. As I said, mobile phone has how many layers in the system? Four layers. At very basic level, what you have? Hardware constitutes processors, cameras, sensors, multimedia subsystem, camera subsystem, audio subsystem, so many things. Who develops the hardware? What is that person is called as? Once. My audio is not clear.
It's clear, sir. No
Yeah,
problem.
those please rejoin. For if you have some issue with the audio, please rejoin. Log off and rejoin again. So who develops the hardware? It is the VLSI engineer is responsible for developing the hardware. Second is what? Firmware, also called as drivers. Everything, Ethernet drivers, USB drivers. When does driver come into picture? Whenever you buy a new hardware. Let's say you buy a pen drive, you insert it. What happens at the bottom right corner? It will say these drivers are installed. So that is the drivers we are talking about. Drivers is like the interface between operating system and the hardware. If you look at this diagram, what do you have? At very bottom of the system, you have got this is what? Hardware. These are the drivers, also called as firmware. Here what you have? Operating system. Here you have applications. For example, how these all things interface, let's try to understand. In your mobile phone, generally what happens if I don't use the mobile phone for some time, what will happen to the screen? It goes blank, right? It turns blank. Why? How much time typically it takes? Let's say 60 seconds. Is it always 60 seconds in every mobile phone? No, right? How do you change it if you want to change it? You go to the settings, you go to the display, there you can change idle time. I mean, how much time after screen change. So let us say we want to change that from 60 seconds to 120 seconds. Instead of 60 seconds, I want it to be active for 120 seconds, and after that, I want it to go for the sleep or whatever, the off mode. Okay. So where do you initiate that process? Will you initiate at the hardware level or will you initiate at the application level? You initiate at the application level. For you, what is visible is the applications. You go to the display application. There you say change the display off time to 120 seconds. That what 120 seconds it will do? It will go to operating system. Narsimha, please be in mute. Narsimha, please be in mute. So what happens? Whatever change you wanted to do, that instruction goes to operating system. That is called as API call, application level interface call. Operating system understands that user wants to change the display off time to 120 seconds. What is current existing time? 60 seconds, but user wants to change it to 120 seconds. That further goes to driver level. Okay, drivers understands again the same thing. Then drivers will give that instructions to, there will be a processor present here. Even in your mobile phone, there will be a processor, right? You would have studied quad core mobile phone, octa core. I'm talking about those processors. Processors will get the instructions. Those instructions are the x86 or RISC instructions, whatever, based on which processor you are using. That corresponding processor will have instructions. Like what type of instructions? Add, sub, multiply, div, compare. I'm just talking about 5 instructions. There are many such instructions will be there. In terms of those instructions, the drivers will tell to the processor that this is what I want you to do. there will be display subsystem here. There is a processor, and at bottom what is there? Display subsystem. It goes and programs the registers inside that. It will generate a transaction to program the registers from 60 to 120. So because you have changed the register value to 120, now my system will work with display off time as 120 seconds. So finally, where do you want actually the change to happen? In the hardware. Somewhere in the display subsystem, there is a register present where you want to change 60 seconds to 120 seconds. But one way of doing it is what? You open the hardware, directly go and change the value there. Is it possible to open the hardware and change there? No. That is where they give us a series of calls, series of interfaces through which you finally do that. What did you do here? You opened the application. You went and informed OS. The OS further informed to the drivers. Drivers further informed to the hardware. Okay. So this is how the changes happen. Everything you do in mobile phone, this process is involved. Everything you do, let's say you want to send an SMS, you would start with the application. You would open a SMS application. That application would give some kind of instructions to the OS. OS would give some instructions to the driver. Driver would finally do the required things to do the data transfer. See, SMS means what? What is SMS? Some transfer of data, right? Your data is getting transferred to the modem so that it goes to the mobile tower, and from there it goes to the other mobile phone. Finally, what is involved there? Data transfer from your mobile phone to somewhere. So finally, all these things will be involved in that process also. As a hardware, what is that it is immediately interfaced with? It is only interfaced with drivers. So as a VLSI engineer, I would not be worried about OS. I would not be worried about applications. I'll be only worried about two things. What are the two things? One is hardware that I am developing. Second is drivers. I mean, how the drivers will work with me. I mean, how the drivers will do the register programming, how the drivers will initiate some transaction on my hardware. Those two things I'll be interested. So that is where, as a VLS engineer, you should be good with understanding of the hardware, a very basic idea about how the drivers will work on me. So coming back to this slide, I hope you understand what is hardware. Next one is what? Drivers. What is the meaning of term driver? Let's understand through a simple analogy. You take an example of a car. You are driving in a car. You have or bus, for example. Bus is like the hardware. Okay. Driver, you see, the person who is driving the bus is the firmware. He's the driver actually. That's the term. That's why the term driver is also there. Who controls the bus? Actually, hardware controls or the driver controls? Driver controls. Does driver do everything independently? No. Sometimes he gets the instructions. Let's say as a passenger in the bus, I may tell, please stop. So I'm giving instructions to the driver that stop the vehicle. So who am I? I'm like operating system or the application. I'm either operating system or applications. He might even get instructions from the head office, let's say travel office, that now you have to come fast, now you have to come slow. Based on that, driver will decide what to do. How he will control? He has got few controls like accelerator, gear, clutch, different things through which he controls the hardware. So you see even in a bus there are multiple layers. The bus is the hardware, the driver is the firmware. The people who are traveling could be the operating system or applications. They control they tell to the driver what to do. Then driver controls the hardware. Do you go and drive directly? No, right? Because for you the interface between hardware and you is the driver. Same happens in the electronic system, where the interface between operating system and hardware is what? Drivers. So whatever operating system wants to do to the hardware, they tell this to the drivers. Drivers in turn do the required configuration. In case of bus, what driver used to do, how driver will control, he has four things to control. What is the four things? Brake, accelerator, clutch, ABC, then you have got gear. Four things he used to control. In case of hardware, there is something called as register programming. Register writes, register reads. My hardware will have a lot of registers. By writing into those registers, by reading those registers, the firmware will control how the hardware should behave. Understand? In case of the bus example, the bus driver will decide that now I want to stop the bus. How he will stop? By pressing the brake. He want to accelerate the bus by pressing the acceleration. Same way when it comes to hardware, the driver, that is the firmware, to control the hardware, the processor will program the registers. That registers will, by programming the registers, we control how it should behave. The simple example of real hardware is the washing machine. You want to change the mode of a washing machine, you turn the knob, right? There what is actually happening is, inside the washing machine there are some registers, you are changing those values. Accordingly the hardware will understand that I have to run for 45 minutes, I have to run for 1 hour, I have to run for 15 minutes. It understands all those things. So that is the understanding of drivers. Why we are discussing all this is, I want you to understand the fine difference between what is hardware, what is firmware. The people who develop firmware is called as what? Embedded system engineers. Who develops firmware is called as embedded system engineer. People who develop hardware is called as VLS engineer. You understand the difference, right? Third one is what? Operating system. Example is Android, iOS, Windows, Linux. The people who develop operating system are the software engineers. Then you have got applications like the apps in the mobile, like GPay, Maps, WhatsApp, everything. Who develops apps? Again, a software engineers or app developers. There will be some developers who develop the apps. Okay. All these four layers are essential for an electronic system to work, for a system to work, right? So hardware has its own importance. Having said that, hardware is not the only important thing. Let me tell you, hardware is not the only important thing. Everyone has its own importance. Can a bus go without passengers? Only driver and only bus. Okay. Again, imagine only bus and the passengers, no driver. Same thing. What else? Driver and the passengers, but no bus. So the bus cannot run without any one of them also. Same way in hardware also, every layer has its own importance. It might so happen that, I'll tell you one thing, you may buy two different mobile phones, Redmi and OnePlus. OnePlus 7, OnePlus 8, I don't know what is the version. Let's say you buy. It may be very much possible that both your mobile phones have the exact same hardware, but they are differing at the firmware level. You may buy two different mobile phones, both having the possibly same hardware manufactured by Qualcomm only, probably. But they differ because one is developed by Redmi with a different set of drivers. Other one is developed by OnePlus with a different set of drivers. There you see the difference in the performance, but both having same hardware. So it is also possible. So what am I trying to tell is, hardware is not the only important thing. Everything has its own importance in the overall hierarchy system. So this is a brief about what is hardware, what is firmware. Now let us understand VLSI part, that is the hardware aspect of the system, because we don't want to worry about what is operating system, what is application, what is driver. Okay, we are here for understanding the VLSI. So let's understand the VLSI design flow. Okay. VLSI stands for what? Very large scale integration. So what are we integrating? Integrating means putting together, right? Integration means what? Putting together. Let's say building is a large scale integration of the bricks. Building is the large scale integration of the bricks. That's where you have the building. So in case of chip, what is that we are integrating? Transistors. We are integrating the transistors. How many transistors? Billions of transistors. Billion means what? 100 crores. So we are integrating transistors. Since we are integrating in a billions, we are calling it as very large scale integration. There are two major styles of developing the VLSI chips. The VLSI design flow has two major flows. One is called as ASIC, one is called as FPGA. ASIC stands for what? Application specific integrated circuit. What do you mean by the term application specific? Means an hardware that is developed specific to one application. Integrated circuit, which has everything integrated, like all the systems integrated, right? What is meant by application specific? It means that, simple example is, you go to Qualcomm, they are working on a chip. Their final goal is that that chip should behave like a mobile phone. So what is their application they are targeting? Mobile phone application. Okay, let's say you go to Cisco, they are developing a chip. What is their final application goal? In one of the cases, they want to develop a router or a switch which will go into internet connections and all that. Let's say you go to some company, Cypress, one of the company who develops the consumer electronic chips. Their goal may be mobile, this washing machine chip. Washing machine also has a chip, right? Electronic going into it. So each of these companies are developing the chips specifically targeting one application. That kind of development is called as ASIC, application specific. See, let's say once the Qualcomm has manufactured that chip, it will not behave like a router. It will not behave like a laptop. It will only behave like a mobile phone. Let's say you go to Cisco, whatever chip they are developing, it won't behave like a mobile phone. So whatever those companies are developing, those development is specifically to work like a specific application. That's why they are called as application specific integrated circuit. Then, is everyone facing the issue with my audio?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. Fazil, you may have to increase your audio. I mean, if it is like everyone is facing the issue, then I can understand that it's my connection issue. I think my connection would be stable.
No issues with your voice, sir.
I hope now the screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we were talking about two major styles of developing the VLSI chip. One is what? ASIC. One is FPGA. ASIC stands for what? Application specific integrated circuit. You see, there are a lot of ASIC companies. Intel is a ASIC company. Majorly, okay. Qualcomm is a ASIC company. Even Broadcom may be partly FPGA company. What is FPGA? Also, I'll tell you. Okay. As we go forward, we'll understand what is FPGA. Opposite of ASIC is the FPGA. What exactly that means? If they develop a common board which can be used as a mobile phone, which can be used as a router, which can be used as a some consumer electronic device, that will be called as a FPGA. It is not specific to an application. The same thing can be used as a different applications, that becomes FPGA board. So let's talk about ASIC. See, ASIC hardware is developed for specific application. Example, mobile phone chip, router chip, consumer electronic chip, anything, right? What is FPGA stands for? Field Programmable Gate Array. Same hardware can be programmed can be programmed to behave like different applications. It can, as I told you, you take a Spartan 6 board or any FPGA board. It can be programmed to behave like a one specific hardware. Same FPGA board can be made to behave like a different application. Yeah, Tippeswamy, please ask your question.
No, sir, no questions. It's just
Okay,
clicks on.
okay. So I hope you got an idea what is a very basic difference between ASIC and FPGA. This hardware in FPGA, that hardware is called as FPGA board. FPGA board can be programmed to behave like mobile. Same can be programmed to behave like a laptop chip. It doesn't mean that you buy a Spartan from Xilinx, one simple one, you can't make it behave like a mobile phone. The board itself should be very complex. Tippeswamy, please be in mute. So for FPGA board to behave like a laptop chip, the board has to be complex to support all the requirements of a mobile phone chip. Now, let us understand the difference between ASIC and FPGA. You may be thinking we have come for Verilog, system Verilog training, why we are starting with ASIC. I'm just trying to give you a bigger level picture of what is electronic system, what is ASIC, what is FPGA. Then we'll get into the other aspects. So let's understand the difference between ASIC versus FPGA. See, cost of ASIC design flow is it it is a multi-million dollars. Let's say you go to Qualcomm, for example, they are developing a mobile phone chip. Their initial investment will be very huge. The initial investment of setting up the flow till the time they can manufacture one chip will be very costly. That will run into multiple million dollars. Once the flow is working, once the entire flow is done, per chip cost will be very less. The process of setting up the flow is costly. Once the flow is set up, to manufacture each chip, it will be very cheap. Whereas when you come to FPGA, initial cost will be very less. Initial cost will be very less because the board is already available for you. Okay, hardware is already available. So per chip cost will be more. The board itself will cost you more. In summary, what happens is, if you want to manufacture ASIC chips, let's say you want to manufacture 100 ASIC chips. In ASIC, initial investment, let's say, is $1 million. Per chip cost will be very cheap. Per chip cost may cost you $20, for example. So how much it will cost for 100? $2,000. So totally what is the total cost? 1 million, $2,000. This is the overall cost in case of ASIC flow. Whereas in case of FPGA, this initial cost will be very less. It won't be 1 million. Let's say it is $1 lakh. Relatively cheap. I mean, 10 times smaller, right? 10 times less than the ASIC. But the per chip cost will be higher. Per board will cost you $50. Per each board, it will cost you more. So overall, for 100 boards, how much you need? $5,000, right? 50 into 100. So you need 1 lakh 5,000 5K dollars. So which one is cheaper right now? To manufacture 100 chips, which one is cheaper overall, cost wise? FPGA is less, right? If you see per chip cost, 1 lakh $5,000 divided by 100. Here 1 million 2K dollar divided by 100. This will be lot cheaper. But as you manufacture more and more chips, you will reach a point where ASIC will become cheaper. There will come a point where ASIC chips will become cheaper, FPGA will become costly. Because why FPGA will become costly? Because each chip requires $50 to man in FPGA. Whereas in ASIC, you need only less, $20 or even maybe less. Because of that, up to one point, FPGA is better. because FPGA initial cost is less. After one point, ASIC will be cheaper. So the companies will decide. See, as I told you, VLSI can be done in how many ways? Two ways. One is ASIC, one is FPGA. So based on how much volumes do you want, the companies will decide whether to go for ASIC, whether to go for FPGA. For example, I am a defense company. We set up a company which supplies some defense equipment to HAL, right? Hindustan Aeronautical Limited. We provide some defense equipment. How many helicopters or something they will manufacture? Probably hundreds only, right? Not into thousands also. So how many chips they will require totally? Few hundreds. They will require only hundreds of chips only. As per that, I will choose to go with FPGA because I am into a segment where the number of chips required is very less. So what I will choose? FPGA. Let's say I'm into tomorrow I decide that I will manufacture mobile phones. I'll set up a company which will manufacture the mobile phones. How many mobile phones generally sells throughout the world? Some lakhs or millions, right? The same hardware can be used in different phones. And finally, how many mobile phones will sell? At least million phones will sell. There I will reach a point where ASIC will be cheaper for me. So which technology will I go with? ASIC. Because I want to manufacture in bulk. For me, ASIC will be cheap. You do the same calculation as the previous one. For example, I wanted to manufacture ASIC for manufacturing 1 lakh chips. What was the initial investment? 1 million. Plus per chip cost was how much? $20, right? $20. 20 into 1 lakh is how much? 20 lakh dollars. 20 lakh dollars is how much millions? 2 millions. Totally how much? $3 million per 1 lakh chips. So what is per chip cost? On average, including the initial investment, what is the per chip cost? 3 million divided by 1 lakh is how much? 3 million divided by 1 lakh is how much? $30. My per chip cost on average will be $30. As I manufacture more, my per chip cost will be less. Whereas in FPGA that won't happen. Per chip cost will always be fixed for you. It will be $50 only. As I manufacture more chips, this 30 will come down to 27, 26, 25. Like that. Whereas if I use the same thing in FPGA, initial investment is how much? 0.1 million, right? 1 lakh is how much? 0.1 million. Plus how much per chip? $50 and 1 lakh. So it will become 5 millions. $50 into 1 lakh will become 5 million. So what is this? $5.1 million. What is this will come to? 5.1 divided by 1 lakh. It will come to $51. Each chip on average will cost me $51. So now tell me, when I do my assessment, which one should I choose as a company? ASIC. I'll go with ASIC. The reason is it may not stop with 1 million. I may have to manufacture another 1 million mobile phones. Then here the cost will keep increasing. Here the cost will keep decreasing. Net it will keep decreasing. So this is where I decide. But same thing if I want to manufacture only 1,000 chips. Let's say aeroplane is there, flights are there, Boeing is there. What do you think makes sense? Let's say Boeing decides that they want to manufacture their own hardware. They have their own hardware. Okay. What do? Will they go with ASIC or will they go with FPGA? FPGA, because how many flights they will manufacture? Aeroplanes they will manufacture few thousands only, right? Less than 10,000. So for less than 10,000, FPGA will make sense. Two reasons. FPGA is quick. Why it's quick? In ASIC, they have to take through entire thing customized. In FPGA, you already have a board. You just have to put everything onto the board. So you don't have to spend a lot of time doing that work actually. I mean, though there will be floor plan, there will be timing closure, everything, but it will be relatively fast compared to ASIC. That means what? Boeing has two advantages. What are the two advantages they have? One is if Boeing wants to manufacture the chips, they will choose FPGA. Why? Two advantages. One is per chip cost is less and it is quick to implement. Because in ASIC, they have to go through a costly process. I mean, the time consuming process. Whereas in FPGA, it won't be so much time consuming. They can quickly, and it's easy to prove, easy to find any mistakes also. Because to prove that your whole system is working, you need to only check one FPGA board. In ASIC, doesn't matter what you want to do for one chip, minimum cost will be $1 million. Whatever you want to do in ASIC, your minimum cost will be $1 million because finally for the one chip to manufacture, that initial investment you have to do. In FPGA, your investment will be less, 1 lakh only. You got the idea about what is FPGA, what is ASIC. That means using any technology you can manufacture. Okay. Which companies goes for ASIC based production? The companies who do bulk manufacture products for bulk uses, and 85% of the things that we use in real life are bulk uses only. Mobile phone, is it bulk uses or rarely used? Bulk uses. Laptop, bulk uses. Adapters, any electronic systems you see in your house is all bulk uses. Since it is bulk uses, it's there in your house. TV is a bulk uses. Aeroplane, do we use in our house? No, right? That's why it's not bulk uses. So the companies which manufacture aeroplane electronic system, they will be FPGA companies. So whatever you see in your house, that went through ASIC flow. Whatever you don't see, let's say there is oscilloscope in the lab, electronics lab, it would have been manufactured using FPGA. Why? Because they don't want bulk production of oscilloscopes, right? They'll go with FPGA production. That means any electronic device, any chip can be manufactured in two ways: ASIC and FPGA. So remaining, how many percent of companies are there? 15% of the companies manufacture for limited applications. Now, is there any this number fixed like 85 and 15? Nothing like that. It's a rough number. All we are trying to tell is bulk of the production happens in ASIC, a little portion of the production happens in FPGA. So let us now that we have understood there are two ways to manufacture a chip, now let's try to understand what is the flow involved in this. Flow involved in the ASIC design flow. We'll take a simple analogy so that you can easily understand it. ASIC design flow is similar to a house construction. And say it is similar to a house construction. First, it starts with what? Requirements. So first you figure out what kind of house you want. Then you go to the architect. You give him the requirements, right? You tell this is my requirement from the house. What he gives you as an output? Architecture diagram, various plans, plinth, electric, plumbing, different plans he will give you. Will he come and construct the house for you? No, he will only give you the plans. Whom will you go after that? You'll go to a mestri or a contractor. What he will do for him, input is this one. Whatever is the output, that is input for him. Whatever architect has given, that becomes input to the next stage. What is output finally from him? The entire building structure will come. Now, can you enter into that house readily? No, right? Still lot of things to be done. So what is pending? Plumbing, electrician work, carpenter, painter, different people are involved by the time your house is ready. Okay. Can your house be ready without a painter? Not possible. Can it be ready without carpenter? No. Can it be ready without electrician? No. So if you see, everyone is important in this flow. Same way, VLSI design flow is not done by one person. It is done by a multiple set of people, each doing work one after other. Exactly similar to house construction. Only thing is there won't be plumber there because there is no water flowing there. Okay. So you do mostly at the silicon level everything. So that flow, if you take a house construction example, you can divide your house construction into majorly two parts actually. Tell me what is one point where you will do till the building structure is one part. Till the building structure comes up, it is one part. Everything you do after that is the second part. I mean, that is how we roughly would divide. Same way in VLSI design flow also, we divide entire flow into two major parts. Front end domain and back end domain. So the ASIC design flow consists of 12 to 15 steps, depending upon how we divide the activity. If I tell you how many people are there in house construction, someone may say 10 people, someone may say 15 people, depending upon how they count the people, right? Same way in ASIC also, based on the complexity, based on how we look at the things, we can divide the entire flow into around 12 to 15 steps. These 12 to 15 steps is majorly divided into two parts. What is the first one? Front end domain. What is the second part? Back end domain. So what is there in the front end domain? It starts with what? Requirements. You see, it's similar to house construction. After requirements, whom did you go in the house construction phase? You went to the architect. Here also, requirements will go to whom? Chip architect. Chip, there will be a person who does the architecture of the chip. He will tell which block will come where, how each of them will be connected. He will tell what voltages need to be given. Everything he will tell. After that, whom did you go in case of house construction? Contractor or Mestri. The person who does similar work is called as RTL design engineer. In VLSI, the person who constructs the code, he develops the code as per the architecture, is called as RTL design. RTL stands for register transfer level. It is done using which language? Verilog language. Once RTL design is done, we do something called as RTL integration. Means designing means developing small things. Integration means putting together, combining everything to get a bigger one. That's why the term integration. Once it is done, we want to be sure that whatever coding that has been done, Verilog coding, it is all working fine. Once you have developed the Verilog code, you want to be sure that that Verilog code is working fine, right? That process is called as functional verification. Then finally you have DFT at the Verilog RTL level, design for testability at the Verilog RTL level. So these are the 6 steps what we call as the front end domain. Then you have got, once it is done, what we have got is the back end domain. You see, lot of these things are similar to software. If you take a software development, similar steps are involved actually. Even in software development, you first understand what is the requirement of the software. I want to develop one software. What are the requirements of the software? Then you go to architect. Even software architect will be there. He will give you the architecture. I mean, not like a blocks. He may give you a different level. Then you have a software developer who does the role of a RTL design, and he develops. Then you integrate the softwares. Finally, you check whether that software is working fine or not. Who does that? Testing engineer. That is called as functional verification in our case. After that, the difference comes between software and hardware. In software, there is no backend domain because once you test the software, it finally gets deployed. Let's say you have a banking software, you don't convert the software into a chip. The software gets installed directly into the laptop. or into the servers. Whereas in hardware, you can't use the Verilog code as it is. Let's say you can't go to the shop and sell me mobile phone Verilog code. You will have to ask, sell me the mobile phone. He will sell you the hardware, not the Verilog code. Whereas in case of software, actually they're selling the code. They're selling the C program, which you install and use it. You understand the difference? So does software has the backend flow? No. So then what exactly is the backend domain? Backend domain is converting that Verilog code into finally a chip. That entire process is called as backend domain. Let me again revise. VLSI front-end domain is very similar to software flow. You understood the similarities. Where does hardware and software differs is at the backend domain. In software, there is no need to manufacture the chip. You can directly deploy the software into the system directly. Whereas in hardware, you have to convert your Verilog code into the chip. That entire process is called as backend domain. It starts with an important step called as synthesis. What is synthesis? It converts your Verilog code into gate level format. When you give Verilog code as an input, it will give you in the format of AND gate, OR gate, XOR gate, XNOR gate. Like that, entire representation will come in terms of the gates. Verilog coding will automatically change to gate level format. Once you have that, you do something called as DFT at the gate level, design for testability at the gate level. Then you have physical design. Let's quickly understand what is DFT, what is physical design. Very quickly, what exactly is DFT is? DFT stands for what? Design for testability. What is involved in DFT is when you manufacture the chips. Simple example, let's say laptop is there. Somewhere during the laptop manufacturing or during the when they are transporting the laptops, some internal part inside the laptop got damaged, not external, somewhere internally it got damaged. If I give you the laptop, just by seeing the laptop, can you tell is it good or bad? You can't tell, right? Then what will you do? What will you do to tell that this laptop is good, this laptop is bad? You will check different things. You will try to, some online student has a question. Uh, those online, Ravi Yadav, please be in mute. Ravi Yadav, please be in mute. Ravi, please be in mute. Those attending online, right? This is a one-time problem. Generally, from the second session onwards, they get used to the muting. Right now, I don't know why he doesn't have. Design for testability. So I was talking about a laptop. I told you that if the laptop has some manufacturing defect inside the laptop, you can't see that. Since you can't see that, how will you check? And you don't want to sell it also, because what will happen if you sell, he will again come back, and that will be a costly process. You have to anyway replace it. Rather, what do they prefer? They prefer to check the laptop before they sell it, so that they know that if the laptop is good, only then they will sell it. Like you would see the sticker quality okay. Any electronic product you see quality tested, the same thing we are talking about. So if it is having some manufacturing fault, what will you do in the laptop? You will check different things. Keyboard, you will try to play an audio video, you will see the display, you will see the USB port, different things you check, and after that you confirm that this laptop is good. That is in case of laptop. Before that itself, we have chip. Actually, during the chip manufacturing, what happens is we are manufacturing at 5 nanometer technology. What is 5 nanometer technology? It is the transistor channel length. The distance between drain and the source is called as channel length. 5 nanometer is a very small length, right? You can imagine it's very difficult to even imagine that much small thing also. I can imagine 1 centimeter is this much. How do I imagine 5 nanometer? It's so small. When you manufacture at that level, there can be manufacturing defects. If there can be manufacturing defects. What is manufacturing defects? Two metal wires gets connected. Ideally, metal wires were supposed to go like this. Distance between them is very small. They may just happen like this. Then the whole chip will not work. It may so happen that some metal wire is always connected to voltage. Always connected to voltage. What will happen in our house if something is always connected to voltage? Lights will always be on. Whether you switch it on, switch it off, your light will always be on. Reverse also can happen, right? It's always connected to ground, so voltage will never go, will always be off. That defects are possible, right? So in your house, it's possible to fix. Can you open the chip and fix that faults? No, right? Once the manufacturing is done, you can't fix the fault. So what is the only thing that you can do is you can identify out of the chips whether it is good chip, whether it's a bad chip. Is everything good in the chip, or is there any defect in the chip? That technology used to detect which chip is good, which chip is bad is called as DFT, design for testability. You're developing the design so that testability becomes easier. Design for testability so that testing becomes easier. In this case, there is some DFT has some techniques called as scan, automatic test pattern generation, built-in self-test, JTAG, boundary scan, compression. Different techniques are there, IJTAG, which collectively are used to detect any manufacturing defects. Having said that, DFT engineer won't sit and do the checking. DFT engineer uses these techniques. DFT engineer uses about techniques. What are the techniques I'm talking about? Scan, ATPG, BIST, built-in self-test, JTAG, boundary scan, compression, IJTAG, different things to develop some test vectors. You'll develop what? Some test vectors. What is a test vector example? Something like this, a long series of ones and zeros. He won't come up randomly. It's not like a take a die and throw 1 0 1 0, not like that. It has got a meaning. Why it is 1 1 0? There is a meaning. He uses some techniques to come up with that number that will be applied to the chip. The above vector is applied to the chip. Finally, you get to know output of the chip will tell you whether the chip is good, chip is bad. Output will tell you. Let's say your keyboard is not working, for example. If you type, you will not see the things properly in the display, right? So can you figure it out whether the keyboard is good or not? Yes, right? Same way, they have a way to check that also. The output of the chip indicates whether the chip is good or bad. Bad means what? Having manufacturing defects. If it has manufacturing defects, will it go into the mobile phone? No, they will throw off the chips. The good chips will go into mobile phone. That is called as a yield. Yield means number of good chips for every 100 chips. Out of 100 chips you are manufacturing, how many chips are good? So do you want a higher number or lesser yield? Higher yield, right? 100% yield means what? Every chip is good. 90% yield means out of 100, 90 are good, 10 are bad. So the DFT role is to figure out the 10 faulty chips. What is the role of a DFT engineer? To figure out which 90 are good, which 10 are bad. He will not sit and do. The person who does this process is called as post silicon validation engineer. The person who does this testing, he gets the test vectors from whom? DFT engineer. So the DFT engineer gives test vectors to post silicon validation engineer. PSV engineer will check will apply vectors to the chip and then find out which is good and which is bad. Vinayak, please ask what is your question?
My question is that is there any role for DFT engineer in the pre-silicon validation as well?
Yes, it is there. As you see here, the DFT scan insertion can be done at the RTL level also.
Okay,
BIST
so
will be
it's
done at the RTL
been
level
done.
also.
Okay,
There will be various aspects that can be done at the Verilog coding level itself. There,
okay,
this will be DFT will be involved.
okay, got it.
Got it, right? Yeah. Next. So you understood what is a DFT engineer role? It becomes more important now because we are moving to a lower technologies. What is the technology? We are at 3 nanometers. The channel length is 3 nanometer. As you go to the lower things, the manufacturing defects can become more significant, right? Then you need advanced technologies to find the defects. So that is the importance of a DFT engineer. Let's take a scenario. What will happen if there is no DFT engineer? You can't figure out which chip is good, which chip is bad. You can't figure it out. Finally, it has to go into your mobile phone. Only once the mobile user starts using, he will tell that this is good phone, this is bad phone. Do you want that? No, right? It is very bad, right? Finally, 10 people coming and tell my phones are not good. Other people telling, okay, my phone is fine. So that companies don't want. So hence DFT has an important role to play there. So what is the role of a post silicon validation engineer? He is the one who does that actual testing. Who gives the inputs to him? DFT engineer. What is the inputs he gives to him? Test vectors. Why it's called as vector? A series of ones and zeros is called as vector. In the VLSI terminology, 10110 that is called as a vector. Since it is used for a test purpose, it's called as test vector. Okay, so that is about DFT. Let's understand what exactly is physical design. Physical design means there are a lot of things in the chip, and all of them are going into a very small area. Millions, billions of gates going into a small area. The process of placing them, where to place what, that is called as physical design. Making sure that everything is placed, everything is connected, all the things are getting the voltage connections, all the things are getting the required clocks, everything is a very complex process. That flow is called as physical design. Yeah, Kaling, what is your question?
So, sorry, if DFT comes before physical design, then how did you get a hardware to test your design? Like, so the hardware is generated after the physical design, right, sir?
Yes, see, DFT engineer, as I said, he will only give you the test vectors. Who will actually do the testing? Post silicon validation. The term post silicon itself means what? Once the silicon has been manufactured. That is the reason DFT engineer doesn't do the testing. Because for DFT engineer to test, there is no chip. He does everything at the coding level only. Based on that coding, he generates the test vectors. The test vectors he will give to the post silicon validation engineer, who will wait for the chip to be manufactured. After that, he will do the checking. So you,
So,
does it answer your question?
okay then, so what is the difference between this verification engineer and DFT engineer then?
Verification engineer is responsible for finding the programming related bugs. For example, I'll tell you one scenario. I'll take one of the projects, let's say something like this is there. Okay. see line number 279, everyone? What is this tilde means? It's a bitwise inversion. In the programming terminology, it's called as bitwise inversion. I remove it. What did I do? I removed it. Now I come back here. Can you find the fault? Can you find where is the mistake? Unless I tell you that line number 279, there is a mistake, you won't be able to fix it out.
Sir,
You got
your
it?
this
One minute.
your screen,
1 minute. My screen.
sir, it lags. It doesn't update suddenly, like whenever like it it updates after like few, I don't know, like 10 to
Is
20
everyone
seconds.
facing the same problem? Is everyone facing issue with the lag?
No, sir.
No, sir, it's proper.
No,
Yeah.
sir.
So again, if someone is facing issue, it could be your internet connection issue.
No, sir.
No, no, sir. It's fine, fine.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for confirming. So what I'm telling is, this is called as a functional fault. Do you understand what is meant by functional issue? During the programming, during the development of Verilog code, what you are seeing is a Verilog code. The person who has developed this code, by mistake, he has missed the bitwise inversion. The bitwise inversion will change the behavior of this if condition. Will it change the behavior? If it changes the behavior of this block. That finally changes the overall behavior of my chip. It won't fail every time, but there will be times where it won't work because you have done a wrong coding here. Now tell me, is it a functional mistake or is it a manufacturing mistake? Functional mistake. What is manufacturing mistake? During the manufacturing, since you are manufacturing at a very low technology, the things can go wrong. Two metals can get connected, which is not a functional. It's a issue that is happening at the manufacturing level. So the person who is responsible for catching the functional bugs is called as functional verification engineer. The person who is responsible for catching the manufacturing defects is DFT engineer. DFT engineer gives inputs to the post silicon validation engineer to do all this work. Khalid, is it clear to you? So now I reverted back. Okay. Did you understood? Did you get a very basic idea about what is physical design? What is physical design is, once you do the synthesis, you have everything at the gate level. Number of gates will be billions actually, 100 crores. Try to place 100 crores in a 1 square centimeter. It will be very difficult, right? So that process of doing that entire work is called as physical design. After the physical design, we do something called as static timing analysis. And after that, we do custom layout. I don't want to go deep into everything because we are not much interested in the backend domain. Then finally, physical verification. And finally, we do something called as GDS2 extraction. What exactly is GDS2 extraction is? uh, Graphical display stream. I think you can just go and search. Maybe it's there here only. Basically, what is GDS2 is, once you have come up done with the entire chip flow, right? You need to give it for manufacturing purpose. That file need to be given for a manufacturing purpose. That GDS2 file will tell where exactly is the silicon, where is the p doping, where is the n doping, how much doping should be done, where exactly is the metals are present, where exactly is the polysilicon is present, where exactly is the oxide is present. You see, you use the oxide, right? In all the transistors, you use the oxide, you use the polysilicon, different things you use. You do doping also. It will tell you exactly, graphically, it will tell you if this is your chip area. Okay, something like this. This is where metal should come. This is where oxide should come. That kind of graphically it will also tell how much it should come, all that collective file is called as GDS2 file. When you give this GDS2 file to the foundry, let's say TSMC, have you heard of company called as TSMC? This company manufactures the chip. I mean, everything that probably is there in your hand, or 60% chance that it was manufactured at TSMC, okay, Taiwan Shanghai Manufacturing Corporation or something. What they do, they finally manufacture the chips. All these companies, Intel probably has their own, let's say Broadcom, Qualcomm, they will all send to TSMC. The TSMC will use this information. What is the silicon? Where exactly metals have to come? You know how many such informations will be there? Crores of such informations will be there. This is the metal wire. This much should be the wire width. Everything they will give. Then based on that, that company will manufacture the chip and give it back to us. Yeah, Salman, please ask.
So, sir, are these steps like DFT, gate level, physical design, HTA, these are done
Yeah.
before the silicon is made?
Yes, all these things are done before the silicon is made.
Okay. Okay.
And sure, actually, it's like doing with an programming or anything.
Everything,
Uh,
see, the programming is involved till this stage. Once you cross
and
this stage, everything here is a more of tool based job. Tool means, see, if I ask you to place 100 crore transistors into a small area, you can't do manually, and there is no programming involved there. Everything is done using some software called as EDA tools. Electronic design automation tools will be used to do that work. So this work is programming intensive. This work is tool and
tool
technology
base.
intensive. Tool based. Technology means what? You need to understand what is FinFET, what is short channel effects, what is CMOS latch up, different basic concepts you need to learn. Whereas when you go here, you don't need to know anything. You don't need to know what is MOSFET also. For example, I worked in front end domain, that is functional verification. I never had to bother about what is MOSFET also, because my work doesn't involve. My work mostly involves developing a program and testing the program, more similar to a software engineer. Whereas when you come to here, it is a lot based on tool, because tools will help you do the things. What is example is a tool is, if you go to a mechanical engineering, there will be AutoCAD tools, right? What do? They will do the computer aided designing in an automatic using a software. Well, let's say you want to develop a car diagram, they will help you draw the diagram in a front view, side view, everywhere, top view. Instead of doing it on the paper, the tools will make it easy for you to draw it, because they will have some pre-implemented structures where you can put and easily come up with the structure. Something similar to that in VLSI, we have something called as EDA tools, electronic design automation. They automate the way we do the things. These tools are very intensively used here. Is that clear, Salman?
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
So I hope you got it. So you understood what is GDS2? Very simple. If silicon is there, where is the metal? Where is the oxide? Where is the polysilicon? Where is the doping? How much doping? Like that, millions of such descriptions they will give. The foundry TSMC company will understand all that. They will do the whole process in that manner. So to understand that, you need to understand the IC fabrication flow. I mean, what will they do? First, they will do the etching, then they will deposit the metal, they will do the doping, they will do etching, then they will deposit oxide, then on that they will deposit polysilicon. Something similar they do in a very complex manner. Okay, so that description is called as GDS2. After GDS2, what do you get? You get the chip. That chip you do the post-silicon validation. Who, from where the post-silicon validation gets the inputs? Who gives inputs to post-silicon validation engineer? DFT engineer. What is the inputs? Test vectors. By that, he will tell which chip is good, which chip is bad. Finally, once everything is done, it goes for packaging. Only if you know that chip is good, it goes into the packaging. That is where you finally have the your mobile phone. It went through so many process. By the time it is there with you. Let's say today iPhone 15 is released. I don't know which one is the latest. The work on that has started in 2021. Even though today you are getting iPhone, the work on the same phone has started in 2021 or 20 through this process. They understood in 2023 these will be the requirements. Then they went through all this process. Finally, you have this phone. Let us go for a break. Okay, we'll keep it a bit short. 11:20 we'll meet. Okay. 11:07 is the time now. 11:20 we'll meet. Then we'll continue with the remaining topics.
This conference will now be recorded.
So let us resume the session. So before the break, we were discussing about what is electronic system and what exactly is the ASIC design flow, what exactly is VLSI, ASIC and FPGA differences. Then we discussed about ASIC design flow and what are the two major divisions. That is a front-end domain and that's a back-end domain. By now, you might have understood that front-end domain involves a good programming expertise. The job is similar to a software engineer job, similar, okay, not same. Back-end domain is what? No programming is involved. It's more of tool-based job and technology concepts. Like what is technology means, how does FinFET will work, what will be called as short channel effects, what is the delay means. Sometimes people call cell delay, propagation delay, rise time, fall time. A lot of technical terms will be there. That level of understanding you require in the backend. So we will talk more of that as we go forward. Now let us focus more on front-end domain flow, because today's demo session is on front-end. So let's focus on front-end domain flow. VLSI front-end domain flow is similar to software flow. What is the software engineer skill set if you ask? Programming languages like C, C++, and Java. And other than that, what does they do? Understand the given requirements. They develop the algorithms and implement those algorithms using one of the languages. Similar to that, even a VLSI front-end domain engineer uses languages like Verilog, SV, and UVM. You can see the correlation. Similar to C, we have Verilog. Similar to C++, we have SV. Similar to Java, we have UVM. Similar, actually. In fact, C++ is object-oriented programming. System Verilog is also object-oriented. Java is built on top of C++. Even UVM is built on top of system Verilog. There is a lot of similarities there. Like you have in software, what do they do? Understand the requirements. Here also, read the specifications, understand the requirement, implement those requirements using the various protocols like USB, PCI Express, DDR, SPI, different protocols. Okay, so point is what? Lot of similarities are there. You should enter into front-end domain if you have some interest in the programming domain. Software doesn't involve back-end flow. I told you, right? In software, you don't have to manufacture a chip. Back-end flow is what? Process of converting the code into the chip is called as back-end domain. Okay. One more thing is chips doesn't have a concept of patch. The important thing you need to understand is in case of a software, if there is some mistake happens in the software, some issue happened, you can always recover it. Let's say you go to bank, instead of depositing, something else is happening. Withdrawal, it shows you deposited 1,000. Due to the software bug, it shows as a withdrawal of 1,000 rupees. Can that bug be recovered? It can be recovered, right? You can just change the transaction details and recover it. The software bugs can be fixed. They are not very critical. But in hardware, they are very critical. Once a bug happens in a mobile phone chip, the chip cannot be used at all. If a bug chip has a bug, you cannot have a patch. In software, what do they call it as? Patches. They release a patch and they fix the bug. But in hardware, there is no concept of patch. So it has to be fixed once and for all. So having said that, let's quickly understand what exactly is pre-synthesis flow and what exactly is post-synthesis flow. In pre-synthesis flow, it has got various steps like requirements, architecture, design, integration, and functional verification. In the backend flow, it starts with synthesis, gate level simulations, DFT, design for testability, physical design, static timing analysis, custom layout, physical verification, fabrication. Finally, we do post silicon validation. So I hope you all have got an idea about what is front end domain, what is back end domain. Now let us understand the different job roles in the VLSI domain. If I say in software, there are only three job roles. One is the software architect, the person who architects the software. Second is the developer. Third is tester. In VLSI, you will realize that there are 15 different roles. Like in software, there are three roles only. In VLSI, there are 15 different roles are there. What are those job roles? Let's try to understand. Front-end domain. In front-end domain, first it starts with what? Requirements. The team who does that is called as marketing team. Then you have a architecture. The person who does that architecture is design architect. Like you have house architect, here you have design architect. RTL coding, the person who does it called as RTL design engineer. Then RTL integration engineer, functional verification engineer, DFT engineer. Then you have synthesis who does finally just adding engineer at the end. Synthesis engineer, formal verification engineer, DFT engineer, physical design engineer, STA engineer, different people involved at each stages. So this is a time where you majorly decide whether you want to get into front end domain or you want to get into the back end domain. Once you get in, over the next period of 2 months, you can still choose. Let's say in front end domain, do I want to get into design or do I want to get into verification? In back end domain, do I want to get into physical design, DFT, STA? That also you can decide. And there is a flexibility where let's say you join into functional verification. Over a 2 months time, you didn't like it. I mean, you started doing programming, you didn't like the programming. We'll give you option to switch to any of these domains. Whatever fee you paid will be adjusted to that. Vice versa. You joined physical design, assuming that you can learn things easily. For whatever reason you didn't like it, you can switch to any other domain. Okay, internally also you can switch. Let's say physical design to DFT to anywhere you can possible. I mean, what is there for me is we want to give flexibility to the student. It should not be like you joined once and it is fixed. There is no option to change. We will give you that flexibility. Yeah. Asmat, please ask your question.
Sir, DFT has both front-end and back-end domains, right?
DFT is involved in both for RTL level also at the gate level also. That's why it is there in the here also, here also. One you do DFT
Okay.
at the coding level. Later you do DFT
So,
at the gate level also. Yeah.
will you teach both the levels or only one level, sir?
Yes, we teach both the levels.
Thank you, sir.
We teach both. Our DFT will involve both the things.
Thank you.
Yeah. Others, please ask your question.
Sir, which has better salary, front end or back end, sir?
Both offer similar salaries. So let's wait for 15 minutes. I'll be done with all these topics. Then I'll answer all these questions one by one. Okay. Let's just complete
Oh,
this
okay, sir. Thank
remaining
you.
part of the presentation for 15 minutes. I hope you got an idea about job roles, right? Now let us understand how the teams are distributed. Assume that there is a company having 50 members. For example, you go to Qualcomm. They are working on a mobile phone SoC. They may have a team of 50 members. That 50 members are divided into two parts. One is the people who work into the front end domain. One is the people who work into back end domain. The people working into front end domain will be little higher, 25 to 30. That is how much percentage? 50 to 60 percentage. Out of 50, what is 25 to 30? 50 to 60%. What is remaining people? 20 to 25 is how much? 40 to 50%. So there is relatively 10% more people in the front end domain. That's the first thing. This distribution, this further is divided into one architect, Only one architect is required. Do you need multiple architects for a house construction? No, right? Only one is sufficient. But he should be good, right? He should not give you faulty architecture. So he has to be very experienced. Okay. When it comes to the construction, will only one labor will be sufficient? I mean, labor in sense, one worker will be sufficient. No, right? You need multiple workers. That is where you need multiple people in design, multiple people in verification. But you see, verification, why? As design works on the reusing existing things, they will reuse. If you are talking about iPhone 15, there was iPhone 14, right? Before that, will they be completely different? No, right? Lot of things will be similar. Only some upgrades have happened in iPhone 15. So what they will reuse? They will reuse the entire iPhone 14 architecture. They redo the things. There, you don't need lot of people for design purpose because you have to do some minor changes. Whereas when it comes to verification, even if the changes are minor, you still have to verify each and every change. Even if the change is very small, let's say mobile phone is there, will it work without keyboard working? Keyboard is a very small thing in mobile phone actually. But will it work without keyboard properly working? So every feature is very important. You need to exhaustively check that. Hence, you need more verification engineers. Something similar is there in the backend domain also, where DFT will have 2 to 5 people, physical design will have around 10 to 15 people, more people into the physical design. STA will have around 3 to 5 people, layout will have around 3 to 5 people. Tell me which are the two domains where there are a lot of jobs? Functional verification and physical design. Accordingly, what happens is more people join into functional verification course training, more people join into physical design training. And naturally, less people in DFT, less people in layout. I mean, if you ask me how many people will be there in layout training, 10 people. How many people will be there in functional verification training? Around 30 plus people. So that naturally that adjusts. Okay. So then comes how do you, which domain is suitable for you? Out of these domains, since there is only one person required for architect, do you think will they hire fresher? All right. So for a fresher, it is not there. Same thing happens in the design also. Many times companies don't hire a because there are anyway less people. They'll go for a little experienced people only for that. Here also they don't hire. So mostly companies hire freshers in functional verification because there are a lot of opportunities. They will hire some freshers. After 1 year, you become experienced and you start contributing. DFT also they hire physical design, layout. So how many domains where the freshers are hired? 4 domains. One is functional verification, one is DFT, one is physical design, one is layout. One way it makes it easy for you. You know that you are not suitable for architect role. You are not suitable for design role. I mean, after 2 years, yes, after 2 years you can move to design team. STA also they don't hire because anyway they need less people. It's a very important work. STA is a very important topic actually. Timing analysis is very important. So they don't hire freshers for that. So like that you have to choose between these domains. Now here, how do you choose which one to go for? Two decisions. Majorly you decide on something. I like programming. I did some programming during my BTech or BE. C++ or C I did. I was fine with it. If you are comfortable, then you can go for functional verification. Okay. Or you did some Java course. You are good with object-oriented programming basics. Defaultly, you can go for this. Otherwise, you can choose one of these domains. There won't be any programming involved in the backend domain. It is completely understanding the tool, understanding the technology. Technology means what I told you, right? Understanding how the resistance works, how the capacitance work, how the C I mean by technology. Tools means given a software, how to use it, how to understand the options, how to give inputs to the tool, how to make the things, how to do the things using the tool. That kind of thing will be there in the backend. But as I said, there is a flexibility for you. You choose any domain, up to 2 months, you can switch to the other domain. Mostly people don't do that, but you have a flexibility to Let us now talk about the training schedule. Mode of training will be basically full week training is there, weekends only training is also there. This is mostly for the people who are working already. Weekdays evening batches also we are planning to do. I mean, someone is working and they are available in the evenings, we are planning to do that. If it is full week training, the training can be done online, can be done offline, can be done in hybrid model. What is hybrid model means? Partly online, partly offline. Let's say someone is from Hyderabad, he can't come immediately to Bangalore, but he has to finally get job in Bangalore only. Those, even you undergo training in Hyderabad, 90-80% chance that you will get a job in Bangalore only. Initial for 3-4 months you attend training from your native place, then last 2-3 months you can come to Bangalore and attend the offline training. Everything is possible. Let's say you attend only for 1 week, remaining 7 months you attend here. Everything is possible. In every case, in the full week training, recorded video access will be given for 10 days for every session. Let's say today, whatever session I'm doing, I'm recording this session. This session will be accessible for you for next 10 days to 2 weeks time. You can revisit the session and understand the concepts again. Like that, for every session, you will be getting access. We have our e-learning portal called as inskill.in. We have a portal by name inskill.in. We will be giving you the student login. You log into that, you will get all the access. I'll just show you what do you get there typically. You take any course, let's say System Verilog. Brent, please be in mute. Brent, please be in mute. So what do you get in this portal is you get access to all the videos. Let's say they will put 19th August video, 20th August video. So you can refer to that specific. After 2 weeks, old videos will be removed. You will get the presentations, the course presentations, whatever presentations we use. You will get assignments. You will also get the notes and labs. We are currently giving the hard copy of the course material also, even for both who comes to the classroom, who attend online. We online students, we send it by courier or the post. The offline students collect at the institute. So this you can always refer, but since you have the books, you can always refer from the books. The books that will have the presentations, assignments, and the notes, everything. Okay. For every session, every topic you attend, you will get the separate books there. So this is where you get access to the videos. This is about full week training. Uh, Weekend training, a lot of people are posting the questions. I will be answering all the questions in 10 minutes later, because I want to just complete this basic thing. Then we'll be going over all the questions. Otherwise, what will happen is it will break my flow in between. Okay. Second option is what? Weekend only training. It is targeted for whom? Working professionals. Uh, Currently, we are doing only online sessions, because generally what happens, someone is already working, he doesn't want to come to the institute, because he always anyway goes to the office, and Saturday, Sunday he wants to be at home, wants to attend online training. But if you want offline sessions, you can come down to the institute for offline doubt, dedicated offline doubt clarification. Let's say you can attend Saturday, Sunday online, but during that Saturday, Sunday also you can come to the institute. We'll connect you with a trainer for doubt clarification. Okay. But whereas full week will be any mode, because full week I know there are 30 people comes to the institute, I do offline. But in online weekends only, what happens is only one person will come. For him, asking my trainer to come here and doing again offline will be difficult. But for doubt clarification, yes, you come here, we'll arrange a trainer to clarify the doubts. In case of weekends only, the student gets access to all the recorded videos for entire course duration. Let's say the course is for 7 months. You get access to all the recorded videos for 7 months. Because what is that we are trying to do is, as a working professional, you will have time in the evenings, weekdays time, evenings. You can go through those videos during that time also. We don't want to restrict saying that I'll only give for 10 days. Whereas in case of full week, what is you are attending the course regularly. There is no need for you to watch 2 months back old video. You should be in sync with the lectures, right? Hence we only give for 10 days time. Sometimes they extend it 3 weeks, 4 weeks, but 10 days is the minimum commitment. Then we're planning to offer weekdays evening batches. I mean, based on the availability, let's say we have at least 4 or 5 people, then we are planning to offer weekdays evening batches, 1 hour or 1.5 hour every day, 4 or 5 days per week. So that possibility is also one student, we can't do that. Based on a minimum availability, we'll do the weekday evening batches. Next, irrespective of mode of training, whether it is full week, weekends, weekdays, evening, every student has a dedicated mentor for doubt clarification. What we do is, as soon as you enroll for the training, we'll create one individual WhatsApp group for you, only for you, where the trainer is there, admin is there. Whatever support you need, you post that request in the group. The trainer will respond back to you. If it is only replying as a message, he will reply. If it is requires a dedicated call, the trainer will schedule a call and clarify your doubts over the call. But you will get the support. Those who are attending full week, that is not really so much important. Why? Because you have a doubt today, tomorrow you can always clarify. During the session, you can clarify. But having said that, you still have a dedicated trainer. Sometimes you will be shy. You don't want to ask the doubt in the classroom. There are another 30 people. You can always talk to the trainer and sit with him one-to-one and get your doubts clarified. The advantage we have is simple. We have around 10 plus people who can do the support. They may not be like me. They cannot teach like me, but they can definitely support each and everything. Next, just talking about the functional verification training, the one course which you most of you have enrolled for, whether we call as RTL design and verification training, whether we call it as design verification training, whether we call ASIC verification training, whether we call functional verification training, everything is same course. Let us talk about functional verification training. It is basically a 8 months course. During 8 months, we'll be having 6 days of training per week. Sunday will be off, 4 hours per day, mostly 9:30 to 1:30, but it could be distributed also. Sometimes some sessions might go for lunch, after lunch also. Let's say we may plan theory session in the morning, lab session in the after lunch. Recorded video access for 10 days, as I said, because it's a full week training. Training is divided into 3 phases. The first phase will be for 2.5 months. During that, we'll be covering advanced digital design, Verilog, GVim text editor. Once that phase 1 is done, the next one will be phase 2, which will go for 3 months. During that 3 months, we'll be teaching system Verilog and UVM, Linux commands, soft skill training. See, talking about soft skill training, this is mostly targeted for the people who come from the non-metro background. Let's say someone has studied their BTech, the Inter, PUC, and BTech in Bangalore or Hyderabad or any city. They mostly don't require any communication skill training because they are mostly from the school itself, college itself. They have that skills. People who come from non-metro, right? They lack that seriously, right? So hence we have a dedicated English teacher, soft skill trainer, who makes sure that your basic grammar is good, the tenses, the understanding of nouns, basic things, and also your communication skills. How do you talk? How do you send emails? Those kind of skills will be focused during that. It's not only in P2. It is a continuous process. Every week we schedule 1 or 2 hours of sessions for you, and you have to attend that and learn the things, right? The next phase will be, you see, the after this phase 1 and phase 2, how much duration is it totally? 5.5 months. After that, your placement support will start. Even though it's a 8 months course, you don't need to wait for 8 months to get placement support. You will get placement support after 5.5 months. You may say, why will company hire after 5.5 months? Because this is the important skill set: digital, Verilog, SV, and UVM, Linux. This is the important skill set. If you know this, but you should be very good with this. Then comes the phase 3. What is the phase 3 duration? 2.5 months. Sometimes the 2.5 months can extend also, because as long as you start placement support, next thing you don't have to bother, right? I mean, your placement support should not get delayed. Once the placement, you start getting placement support instead of 2.5 months, even if it goes for 3 months, That's okay, because as long as you do the project properly, then it's fine. So here what do we do is that industry standard hands-on projects. I mean, how the work happens in the industry, how the work happens in the industry, in the same level we do the project. Something like Ethernet MAC verification, USB core verification, DMA controller, some complex designs will take. For that, we'll be doing the projects. Projects based on standard protocols like AXI, HP, all that. Python scripting will be covered, and some concepts on SoC, system on chip flow. So this is the overall distribution of the 8 months. Purposefully, we have kept it 8 months. Reason is, many times people who join the training lack lot of fundamentals. What do I mean by fundamentals is, you have done your digital design in second year, first year mostly, first or second semester. That's already 3 years over, and you never revised digital design. So you might have missed what is basic things also, what is decoder, what is encoder, what is flip flop, what is counter. Lot of basic fundamentals are missing, right? If you miss so many fundamentals, to make you to a position where you get a job and you work in the job, very difficult to do it in 5 months actually. Very difficult to do that in 5 to 6 months. Very difficult, because people don't come with the required fundamentals. Let's say you come with good fundamentals, it doesn't take 8 months actually. It can be finished in 6 months itself. For us also, as an institute, running a course for 8 months is very difficult. Which is easy, 6 months or 8 months? 6 months is easy, right? For me, finishing off everything, so that my trainers are free, my rooms are free, my facilities are free, I can use for some other batch. But our goal is simple. Our more important, our goal is, anyone who passes out of the institute should go with a minimum expertise. There should be a level where you should be at least minimum above that, so that you should not find it very difficult in the job. You join a company, you should not find it very difficult to work there. Many times it happens where you don't undergo the proper training, you go through that problem actually. So we wanted to purposefully extend the training duration, so that your quality should not get impacted, but still your placement also won't get impacted, because we will start providing placement from 5.5 months itself. So there are three phases: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Phase 1 and phase 2 helps in getting the job, because the job interviews will be focused on Verilog, digital system Verilog, and UVM. Phase 3 actually helps in, when you get into the job, the work won't be just SV and UVM. Work will be more to do with how to understand the project, how to do the debugging. Lot of other things will be there. So phase 3 will help you in performing the job. You understood? So training is, what is the total training duration? 8 months, 6 days per week, around 4 hours per day. Okay. Every At the end of every topic, there will be one evaluation test. Based on the test performance, you will be allowed to go to the next level of training. If you don't do well, if you don't score minimum marks, we will make you repeat the course. What is that we are expecting? We don't expect you to be 100% perfect. Some minimum knowledge should be there. So if I'm talking about C programming, you say you have completed C programming. At least you should know what is arrays, what is operators, simple data types, how to write a simple function in C. Without that, can you go to C++? Same expertise we expect in every stage also. We will be doing assessment. If you don't meet that minimum, you will have to repeat the course. The most important thing that differentiates the institute, our institute, is the level of support you will get. Let's say you need a support, you come to the institute, you can connect with the trainer and get your doubts clarified. If a student doesn't want to come, doesn't want to get the support, we can't do anything. Understood, right? If a student is not having motivation to come, he doesn't understand, he doesn't want to come, he doesn't want to take the support, we can't do anything. We'll tell him a couple of times, you are not doing well, you can take the support. After that, we'll leave it actually. Next, functional verification for experienced people. That will be only 6.5 months, because already working means what? They are good with digital, they are good with Verilog. You understand, right? They don't need digital and Verilog, so there the duration comes down. 6 days per week, 4 hours per day, Recorded video access for 10 days. Training is divided into 2 phases only. Earlier it was 3, now it's only 2. Phase 1 is 4 months. Earlier it was 3 months actually. Phase 2 was 3 months, it is 4 months. Here what do we cover? System Verilog and UVM in advanced. See, the UVM will be UVM main plus advanced. Whereas for a fresher, only this much is sufficient. For a fresher, this won't be there. Because a fresher doesn't need to know advanced level of UVM. Freshers are hired because they are good with the basics, not because they are good with very advanced things. Talking about later 2.5 months, that is the industry standard projects. Python scripting, they all will be covered. So this is the course for experienced people. FPGA, let the trainer talk about it. And all I want to tell is the same structure. Phase 1 will be same. Phase 2 will be focused on FPGA related topics, the FPGA board, standard protocols, implementing the projects on the FPGA board. Everything will be done. TFT trainer will again talk about that. Here we divide it into 3 phases. In each initial phase will be covering digital design, Verilog, Linux, and GVim, TCL. You see, TCL is the additional thing we are doing. In the phase 2, we'll be doing scan, ATPG, compression, and simulations. Phase 3 will be doing BIST, JTAG, boundary scan, and IJTAG. So the whole training is divided into 3 phases in the DFT also. Phase 2 will be for basic level of topics of DFT. The phase 3 will be advanced level of topics in the DFT. There will be multiple projects will be done in the DFT also. Physical design, let me not talk about because today's session is focused more on the front-end domain. Then comes the important point, choosing the right course. With so many courses, how do you choose the right course? First thing I told you is what? You have to ask yourself what kind of expertise you have. Do you like the programming kind of job, or do you like the non-programming kind of job? Accordingly, you can choose. Let's say functional verification. When will you go for functional verification? When you have a good programming expertise. You to start with, you don't need to be expert in programming, but you should have that little programming inclination. You should understand what is meant by a for loop, what is I plus plus means, what is while loop. You understand what I'm talking. That kind of little inclination should be there to write the program, understand the program. Okay. Functional verification has good job opportunities. I mean, people, if you complete 80% of the course assignment, people do get a job compulsorily. Second is FPGA system design. It requires medium level of programming expertise. Medium level, you don't need to be very expert, but some programming is compulsorily required. Expertise of working with the tools. But it also has a good job opportunities. Why good opportunities are there is less people undergo training. In FPGA, it's not because lot of jobs are there, because less people undergo training, and those less people automatically get the opportunity. Okay. In backend domain is the third one, where you don't need any programming at all. In that, physical design, DFT, custom layout, they are the options. Requires no programming expertise. Mostly tool and technology oriented job. I mean, you need tool expertise and technology expertise to work in that. Accordingly, you can choose. Where do you fit? You should ask yourself, where do you fit? Even otherwise, you can start with any course. As I said, up to 2 months, you can switch to the other domain. Course institute, as an institute, we do offer flexibility. That's the same thing I'm talking about. Join any course, switch to any other course up to 2 months, no additional fee. Even beyond 2 months also you can do. There will be a charge, nominal charge per month basis or something. No need to repeat entire 2 months. You may ask, if I rejoin after 2 months, do I have to repeat entire 2 months? No, because 1 month is common for everyone. Initial 1 month digital design, GVim and Linux basics is common for everyone. So you don't have to repeat initial 1 month. You have to start after 1 month. There will be a new batch starting around that time. You can rejoin that one. Okay. Initial 1 month is common for all the courses. You don't have to repeat that part. So only you are losing 1 month. That is okay, right? As long as you are able to choose the right domain, 1 month losing is not a problem. What is there for us is we want to give the flexibility to the student so that it should be convenient for you to decide. Okay, how to prepare for a job? See, you're all here for getting a job, right? So what is the guidelines you have to follow? What is the first thing? What is the difficult part of the training? Okay. uh, Most importantly, I mean, I just want to summarize what are the 3 or 4 essential things you need to get a job. First thing is a minimum IQ level is required. Minimum IQ level is required. IQ level means mathematical skills, ability to understand the simple problems, and it's very simple. You don't, I am not expecting that you come with the knowledge of Verilog system, Verilog. Some minimum IQ level is required. Without that you can't get a job, because without that you can't learn the subject itself. You have to figure out what is my IQ level. You can go on internet and check also. I mean, I never checked mine. Okay, I was okay always. I was okay with my problem solving skills. You can check. You can always do the things to improve your IQ level. Do some quantitative aptitude and do that. That's a serious suggestion, because without that aptitude level, you can't learn the things. Okay. So, for example, simple example could be if I tell you what is 12 into 13, you came 156. If I ask 12 into 14, some person might again do the multiplication. That's not correct, right? What you would do? You'd add one more 12. That's the basic IQ I'm talking about. Let me tell you, there will be 30 to 40% of the people in the rooms training who don't do that. Who don't think that I can do plus 12, it will be the answer. Who can't do that? That level of people, I can't get it. We can't get a job. Whatever you do, I can't get a job. I'm not trying to discourage, I'm not trying to tell negative. I'm telling you the facts. Second thing is the motivation level. First thing is what? You should have minimum IQ. I am not telling that you tell 156 immediately. Do calculation and do tell. And after that, if I ask you what is 12 into 14, you should understand that there is one more 12 added. Answer should be 168. That's the first one. Second one is what? Motivation throughout the course. Many times what happens, there will be a strength will be 50 in the first day. After 3 months, strength will become 35. 15 people lose interest. Our teaching energy will be similar actually. Our teaching, and not only mine, my other trainers' teaching level will be same. Only thing is somewhere people lose the motivation. And by the time we reach the 7th or 8th month, there will be only 20 people left out of 50. Those 20 people are the one who get the job. Third thing is being regular to everything, doing the things, assignments on time, being proactive. Let's say you don't need to solve all 100 assignments, 100 questions. Let's say you are able to do only 60 questions. How many questions you are not able to do? 40. You go to the trainer, talk to the trainer, and get the support and learn the techniques, how to do that 40 questions, where you, that kind of positive approach should be there to the learning. And being regular to assignments, regular to the sessions, regularly attend mock interviews. Okay, regularly attend some group discussions. Everything be regular. Even if you don't find it, see, some everyone feel difficult, right? Even when I'm learning a new thing, let's say I want to learn some new technology, new protocol, I will find difficult actually. Good thing is you have someone to go and clarify. Let's say you don't understand something in system Verilog, you can come to me and ask. There are few technologies or protocols which I don't have anyone to go many times. Let's say Ethernet 100 400 Gs. The book runs for 5,000 pages. I have a doubt, I don't have anyone to go many times, so I stop at times. So I mean to say, you have someone to go. The point is being that proactiveness. Three things are only required. One is what? Minimum IQ level. Second is motivated throughout the duration, 8 months duration. You should not be one of such person who drops out after 2 months, who drops out after 4 months. It could be for any reason. You have personal work and they ask you, go, let's go for a movie. You should not be one of such person. Third is what? Be systematic in your preparation. That's all. If you do all that, you get a job. Wherever you miss any of these three, you won't get a job. If there are many people in the institute, let's say some people who don't get jobs, somewhere they are missing this, one of this. Okay. Again, when it comes to the third thing, I'm not telling that you should be 100% perfect. You don't need to know 100% questions. What you don't know, you should get the support. Okay. So the next difficult things move quickly actually. let's say digital design you used to learn. In your college, it used to run for 1 semester. Less things only. Less things of digital design, but for 1 semester. Here, we do more things, lot of things in a shorter duration. See, 8 months of training, what you do here is equivalent to almost equivalent to 2 years of your BTech. Any take any 4 semesters, any 4 semester, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 1, 2, 3, 4. Whatever amount of knowledge you learn during that 4 semesters is what you will learn in the 8 months of training. That you will realize towards the end of this course. So since it is happening in such a compressed duration, you feel the difficulty. But that you have to do, right? Because otherwise, why would someone give you salary? Let's say someone has to pay you 30,000, 40,000. Why will someone give you salary and hire you? You need to be productive, right? You need to do some work for them. Next. Thing is, what do you mean by things move quickly? Focus digital design. Our digital design entirely gets over in 3-4 weeks. That's something you do it over 1 semester time in your BTech. There you find the difficulty actually. But then the positive side is here you have someone to support everything. In college, the teachers won't be so much motivated. I mean, some teachers are good, some won't have so much motivation to really guide you in the right way. 3 times the content will be a lot more than what you learn, but in a lesser time. Same thing happens in Verilog. Every course you'll have a lot of things to learn. That is where we give option for the student to repeat the batch. Let's say you didn't learn digital design properly, you repeat it, because next batch will be there after 4-5 weeks. You didn't learn Verilog properly, you repeat it. Because instead of 7 months, you spend 9 months. But if you are good with the subject, you have a very good chance of getting a job. But you finish everything in 7 months and you are not good with anything, will you get a job? 100% no. So that is where we do give you option to repeat, no additional cost for repetition. How much time needs to be spent totally? Overall, you should be spending around 900 hours of effort. I mean, how did we come up with 900? Digital design will require 100 hours. Verilog will require 150 hours. Like that, if we add up totally, we came with 900 hours. This includes the time you spend in the classroom also. You already spend a lot of time in the classroom. You spend at least 170 days in the classroom, 170 to 180 days into 4, which is around 700 hours. We'll be teaching almost 650 to minimum 600 hours of teaching. All we are telling is spend additional 300 hours from yours. Then you do get a job. It's not a lot of time. 900 hours as a number is very big. But if you talk of 8 months, what is 8 months? Around 240 days. 900 by 240 is what? Around 4 hours per day on average. Just regularly spend 4 to 5 hours per day. By 8 months, you have a job. Again, I'm telling people who don't get jobs, they don't meet this requirement. You write down, today I have spent 4 hours. On 20th August, I have spent 5 hours. You write it down. Wherever you get 900, you come and tell me why job is not there for me. I'll give you the answer. Are you getting the point? If you just do this calculation by 900 hours, you have a job 100%. Because that will give you enough expertise to work in the job actually. Okay. It's not a random number. 900 is not a random number. We have done a basic calculation. Digital design, this is the depth. This many hours are required. Verilog, this many hours. System Verilog, this many hours. UVM. That's how we came up with 900 hours. Next. We also do performance tracking. See, not every student is same. Different students require different levels of support. So we categorize the students into good category, average category, and poor category. Okay. Performance tracking parameters. How we do based on the assignments. Lot of weightage is given to the assignments. How do you do in the assignments? But assignments also you get the support. There will be a session like this where trainer will be supporting each question for you. But we expect you should proactively do the questions. Second is for every assignment completion, we conduct the lab sessions. 10% for attendance. Attendance is not importance. We don't give a lot of emphasis. More importance is on completion of the assignments. 20% for evaluation test. Finally, at the end of every topic, there will be evaluation test. Based on your performance in the evaluation test, you will be promoted to the next session, next batch, next group, next training. Otherwise, you will have to repeat. I mean, repetition we don't do for a out of fun. I mean, for me, it's pain. If someone repeats, my batch strength increases again, right? But then we have to maintain a minimum quality, right? Because when student passes out of an institute, institute is not the building, institute is not the laptops or not chairs. What is institute? Institute is the students. Students represent the institute at the end of the day. You work, your work will show the institute's strength. 10% is for presentations. During presentation, what do? You are given a topic, you are asked to do the presentation. Then one presentation every month will be there. Other than that, mock interview will be there every month, a half an hour, 1 hour, where the trainer will take your mock interview. They'll give you suggestions where you have to improve, kind of things. And there will be a dedicated WhatsApp group for every student where you can post your and get the quick support. What is the final goal of 32 weeks of training is, I mean, after 32 weeks of training, what is our final goal is that you should be able to work in the job independently. You go to a company, let's say you join Wipro, you join Qualcomm, any company, you should work independently without taking any support from the seniors. You don't need to really innovate anything, you don't need to do any research and development. Simple, you go there, they give you some work, you should understand what is the work, what is required to do this work, and you should do that with minimum support from the colleagues. That is the only goal. Right now, if you ask me, are you in that position? Probably no. If you are in that position, then you could actually join and companies will actually hire you. If you can prove that, you hire me, I will work independently. Whatever work you give, I'll understand and I'll do independently. No need of training. Actually. Probably most of you during your BTech, you didn't had that kind of exposure. That is what we are trying to fill that gap here. But note, it's a collective effort. I mean, only institute cannot do that. And only student alone you cannot do. It's a collective effort where 30% is institute effort, 70% is your effort only, because you need to spend time, you need to learn, you need to be focused in doing the things. Okay. So some testimonials, I don't want to read too much into it. uh, I mean, for our main goal is to make sure that uh, to every student should be given the required focus. We don't treat it like a 30 people batch. We do give an individual attention, we do track each performance, and we uh, make sure that you get the required support. Let's say you are not able to cope up with the basics, we arrange a dedicated sessions for you to help you come up to the level. But as I said, one thing, if a student himself doesn't have the motivation, doesn't want to do, we leave it. Okay. So that's a brief about it. I think that completes my demo session. Okay, now we can go over the questions. uh, I will start with the questions. People who have questions, please post the questions in the chat window. Those in the classroom, you can ask the questions, I can answer. First, let's start with students in the classroom. Do you have any questions? I mean, need not ask immediately. Even during the session, you can ask. Immediately you have any questions? Okay. DFT course tomorrow 4 p.m. demo session will be there. Trainer will help you understand the entire DFT flow. No, it's not like backend. The DFT work happens in the front end domain also, happens in the backend domain also. Why we will call it as a backend course is DFT doesn't require any programming expertise. Yeah, that's what. DFT as a course doesn't require any programming expertise. So if you don't want any programming expertise, you can go for DFT. But then why are we calling it as happening in front end domain also? Because it has got I mean, the DFT is also done at the Verilog level also. Hence, it's partly there in the front end. Is in where? I told no programming. No programming. Only very little right? Any other questions? Yeah. Yes. Verification will involve a lot of programming also. See, RTL is different because RTL is done using uh, verification is done using system Verilog and UVM. What happens is the difference is between using C and C++. What happens when you go from C to C++? Lot of new things got added, right? Object oriented programming, linked list, binary trees. Lot of new things gets added in C++, which are not there in C programming. Same add-ons, yeah. Some same thing is the difference between Verilog and system Verilog. Like Verilog has only very limited things. If you ask me in the whole world, which is the easiest language to learn, Verilog is the easiest language to learn because Verilog has very few things to learn. Always block, initial block, begin, end, while loop, for loop. Like that you count, very few things are there in Verilog. So Verilog is easy to learn. When you go to system Verilog, it adds object-oriented programming. A lot of new things gets added. Interface, semaphore, mailbox, different types of arrays, functional coverage. Due to that, system Verilog gets little complex. But once you the coding becomes easy. The complexity makes the coding easier. Complexity means what? Number of options you are getting. Object-oriented programming, interface, semaphore, mailbox. That options make your system Verilog coding easier. The effort is only learning the new language. You don't need to be too much expert. You just should have that inclination to do the programming. At the end, if you go to the job, more than programming, you do a lot of debugging. Other skill set is more important actually. That is something we teach here. Programming also we teach. We teach the other skill set also, debugging skill set, everything. Yeah. Any other questions in offline students? Sorry. Yeah.
For functional verification,
You didn't go through the entire lecture. You are there, right? Yeah, that's all. 10 to 15 days. I mean, see, what I'm telling is there is a policy we have to keep. If I keep for 6 months, what happens? If I tell you that today's video will be available for 6 months, will you anytime watch that? No, right? Because you know that it's available for 6 months, you will never watch it. If I tell you that I'm going to remove it in 10 days, what will you do? It's about learning, you'll watch it. Otherwise, in the earlier case, even if you are serious, you will become ignorance. Because today, let's say I purchased one course on Udemy. They say that lifetime access. So I know that lifetime is there. So today I never watched it after that. 1 year back I purchased. I didn't complete the entire course. In our case, we give access only for 3 months. Our e-learning course, we give only access for 3 months. They are serious. They complete in 3 months actually. Because they know that after 3 months, access will get over. Sometimes we extend, few weeks we extend uh, because we understand their scenario. But then that limitation is important where you get serious about learning. See, if you are serious, you don't need to see. Do you revise second semester topics in fifth semester? No, right? When you are in second semester, you have to do the second semester topics only properly. That's what the course expectation is also. If you are not able to do that, you have to repeat it. If the Verilog is happening, you are not able to cope up with Verilog properly, you have to repeat Verilog. That everywhere is applicable. So if you ask, are the videos available entire duration? No. Because we have to have a uniform policy. That policy is maximum 10 days to 2 weeks. Sometimes he keeps even for 1 month. Sometimes my admin keeps it for 1 month also. But that's the that's the cases where out of our flexibility we keep it. But as a rule, maximum minimum 10 days only. Any other questions? Tools
sir.
will be given. Uh, one second. I'm answering one offline student. He's asking about a tool question on tool support. You will get the tools for entire course duration. On the servers, all the tools are installed. We'll be giving you access to the server through VPN, and through that you connect to the server and use the tools. You can access the tools from anywhere, 24/7 from anywhere. You don't need to be only at the institute. You can access it from anywhere. And also, whenever you're stuck, you can of course talk to the trainer during the sessions, or you can even connect with the one-to-one mentor and get your doubts clarified related to the tool access. So up to Verilog, what we do is we install tool on your laptop only. There is a tool called as Model Sim, which is available openly, you can install. From system Verilog onwards, you get the server access. Any other questions?
Sir, I'm audible, sir.
Yeah. My request is, please post all your questions in the chat window. Anyway, please ask what is your question. Those attending online, right? It will be
Okay.
easy if you can post your questions in the chat window. I can take one and answer. Yeah. Anyway, you can ask your
Sure,
question
sir.
now.
For a functional verification, actually, still, yeah, Verilog and UVM are mandatory routes, sir.
Yeah. They are mandatory.
Hello.
Yes. SV, UVM, and
Yes, sir.
Verilog SV and UVM are mandatory. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, we need to too much expert for the role, sir. For an placement, it's very because I'm a triple student. So it's a very complicated. If I'm interested in program, I choose for verification. This in future I will face any struggles
See, you should not come with a
in the
negative
work.
mindset that you should not come with a mindset that I'm a triple student, so I can't do programming. You do, you join, you do the programming.
Yeah,
If you
I
like
can.
it, you continue. If you don't, and if you ask me, I'm a triple student,
Okay,
should
sir.
I do front end or back end? I can't tell you. What I will tell you is my suggestion will be join whichever course there is in your mind. You try
Uh,
it for 2 months. You like it, you continue. Otherwise, you
so
switch that. That's the best suggestion I can give you because
yeah,
I'm different, you are different, right? I don't know what is your skill set. I mean, what level of programming skill set you have got. Yeah. Is that
yeah.
clear to you?
The- I yeah, expect that expertise level in that programming, sir. For a placement, for a verification role, what much expertise the company takes expect that actually, sir.
They expect you to be good with the, see, expertise means that you should be able to do some, given as some programming, you should be able to do that. They will ask you programming, do that. You should be able to do that.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Okay. I'm listing down all the questions. I will answer all these questions one by one. Any other questions, please post in the chat window. Those in the classroom, you can ask your questions directly. For the question number one, according to today's market, which is best for job future, ASIC or FPGA? See, there are opportunities in both the domains, ASIC also, FPGA also. Only advantage FPGA has is very less people join FPGA training. Because of that, even if they complete FPGA, even when they complete, there's a less competition in the market. Because whatever you learn in FPGA, other people don't have that expertise. If you go for a FPGA company interview, other people cannot compete because you need a board level understanding how FPGA board works, everything. So there, each has its own advantage. When it comes to ASIC, more hiring happens in ASIC, but accordingly, more competition is also there. See, not only our institute, there are many other institutes provide training in ASIC, but when it comes to FPGA, very few training institutes are there. Because of that, there also you have an advantage. You got the point, right? What is the difference between verification engineer and DFT engineer? Does DFT come first or verification come first? I told you already. Verification is about finding the functional defects. DFT is about finding the manufacturing defects. So who comes first? Verification is done first. After that, you do the DFT on the very RTL and at the gate level. The person who asked this question, is it clear? Kaling, I hope it's clear. We have already discussed this.
Yes, sir.
Next. Okay. What is the next question? Can you tell me which domain has better job prospects, front end or back end? As of today, more hiring is happening in the front end domain as of today. But things doesn't take a lot of time to change. There may come a time where hiring 30 people for physical design. As of today, back end hiring is less due to market conditions. Front end, at least hiring is happening somewhere, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, that is happening. But things can change. Things can change where things can get better for back end also, where more hiring happens. Getting job is all about little bit of, not little bit, more of patience. You may be very good with the subject, but sometimes due to many factors, you have to wait. So as answer is front end domain. But I would suggest always you should go by your interest rather than what domain has more opportunities. Next, is it possible to join VLSI domain after gap post engineering? It is possible. It depends upon how much gap you have. Let's say you have 2 years gap, 5 years gap, it is easily manageable. But you have 10 years gap, very difficult. Let's say you are 2013 pass out. Now, if you want to get into VLSI, some challenge will be there. Challenges are due to two reasons. You have 10 years means you will have a lot of personal commitments. If you are just recently passed out, no personal commitments, right? You have to just prepare. Someone who has 10 years gap means what? They will come with lot of personal commitments. So their whole distraction will come. That's the main reason. Otherwise, it's not difficult. If you can focus after with 10 years gap also, people can get job. Let's say there I have people, I had some students who are faculty for with 13 years experience, 15 years experience. They left the job, they came here, stayed here for 9 months, 1 year, and they got a job. But they get in a different way. They show some consultancy experience. With that, they try as experienced people, not as a freshers. Can you read the next question, please? Batch starting date and batch starting date and timing. Batch is starting from Monday onwards, actually, because there are a lot of people who are already in Bangalore just to attend the batch. We don't want to delay it. Okay. Tomorrow will be a break where you can complete your enrollment. Monday onwards, batch will start. See, what we do is Monday and Tuesday, we do Linux commands and basic GVim. Onwards, we do digital design. Why we do that way is, even someone misses 2 days because you can't join immediately, you need time. They can start from Wednesday where a new topic will start. Then you may say, what about missed topics? Once digital is done, again these two topics are done again. That way technically you don't miss. But those who are here already, since they do this 2 times, they get better expertise. You get better with Linux command, you get better with GVim. Okay, so that is the plan. So why we do this way is, we merge even physical design students, DFT students into the same group. Initial 1 month is common for everyone. That's where you may see, when you start on Monday, you may see around 40-50 people in this room, because all the people are put into the same batch in 1 month, initial 1 month. Next, how much duration of the class in a day? I told you 4 hours, around 4 hours per day. Is weekend only and self-paced course same? Yes, both are same. Self-paced course means what? You get access to all the recorded videos, and weekends only for self-paced learning. See, if I just give you videos, 200 videos, and ask you to go through, it is difficult, right? You need someone to guide you. So there, every weekend we'll be having sessions, Saturday and Sunday. The trainer will do the topic for you, will do the assignment sessions, supporting with the doubt clarification, everything will be done on the Saturday and Sunday. When I say weekend training, when I say self-paced course, both of them are same. Now the question is, if you are very busy and you don't want to attend weekend, that's also fine. Then it will be only self-paced for you. But self-paced course automatically comes with the option of weekend training.
And in weekend course,
Because
we will not have online classes.
it will be online class. I told you, right? Weekends
No, no, sir.
training will
I'm
be
saying, sorry, sir. Live online classes. I mean, like topics. They will not do live, like
no, no,
physical
I'm
training.
telling you topics will be done live, but not every topic. See, is it possible for me to do all 6 days topics in 2 days?
No, 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 sir. Not all topics, but like some
But some
topics.
topics will be done. Yes, some topics will be surely done. You can request, I want this topic. The trainer will do that.
Okay, sir.
My point is, it's a mix of self-paced learning where you are learning the things. Parallelly, the trainer will give you the sessions. Trainer will do the sessions over the weekends also. Okay, you may say, why not keep entire day, Saturday, entire day Saturday, entire day Sunday? The problem there is you are already working for 5 days, whatever. If you again have to spend full Saturday and full Sunday for 8 months, it becomes very hectic. So there we give you videos plus the live sessions over the weekends, half a day. But the advantage here is you have one more flexibility is, let's say Monday you have a doubt. You don't have to wait till Saturday. Same day you can post a request, get the support from the trainer.
So, sir, can you please tell, like, if we are planning to join the weekend course, so how should we exactly manage and how should we like go forward? Like,
No, no, it's a self-paced learning course. You have flexibility to complete the course at your own convenience. Right now, what is the duration I'm talking about? 8 months. You can finish the same course in 5 months also. You can finish the same course in 1 year also. We'll give you both the. That's why it's called as self-paced learning. Regular students don't have that complete flexibility. They have to go with the batch. But anytime they are not able to cope up, they have to repeat the batch. There the duration can increase. But when it comes to self-paced course, you can exactly pace yourself. I mean, how do you pace? I have per day only 2 hours. Accordingly, you plan how much duration I will require. So in fact, our course also comes with that planning also. There will be a schedule. That schedule will exactly tell you. Sorry,
okay, sir.
I'll show you. If I go to any course system where log, let's say. If you open the schedule, we divide the schedule into three parts, three types: relaxed learning, normal learning, quick paced learning. I mean, this is for the self-paced learning students. If someone can spend a lot of time, let's say 24 hours per week, you can spend 24 hours peak. So you can do the course in a quick pace. You can complete the course quickly. You can only spend 18 hours per week. That will be normal. You can spend 12 hours per week. It will be relaxed learning, where in 6 months you want to take 10 months to learn. So that I cannot control, right? Because you know your schedule better. I can't tell you complete and compulsorily in 1 month. I give you option to do it in 15 days also, 1 month also, 2 months also. But during that time you will get the support. Does it answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. So along with that, as I said, we'll create one individual WhatsApp group where you get the support from the trainer. Next, course duration is 7 months or 8 months. Course duration is 8 months. I gave you, right? I told you the schedule. What is that? 8 months, 6 days per week, 4 hours per day. Remember this slide? 8 months, 6 days per week, 4 hours per day. But your placement support starts after 5.5 months only. CGPA affects the placement support. Yes. Let's say if someone has very less percentage, let's say someone has 45%, chances are very less. Correct, right? Because the company understands that you are consistently not doing good. If CGPA is 85%, chances are very good because you are there, because you have done very well during your BTech or Again, what if it is 65%? You still have a very good chance because minimum cutoff is 60%. Below 60% means you have to be a bit worried because not every big company will consider you. There will be startups will consider you. Even there you have to put effort. Startup doesn't mean just they will hire anyone, because they also have to pay salary, right? When they have to pay salary, they will see whether you come with the minimum expertise or not. Next, weekdays training and weekend timings. Weekend timings. I told you weekdays will be the same thing, around 9:30 to 1:30 every day, but it can change a little bit because with many batches, sometimes we have to change the schedule a little bit. But it won't go to the evenings like that. Somewhere around 9 to 4, everything gets over. 9:30 to 3:34, everything gets over. Weekends will be mostly in the morning, around 10 to 2 o'clock. Saturday 10 to 2 o'clock. Sunday it will get over. Can you tell starting packages of functional verification and physical design areas? See, starting salaries depends upon which company you get into. If you get into services based companies, your salary will be on a lesser side. It could be from 3.5 lakhs to 6 lakhs in a services companies, service based companies. The product based companies can start itself at 6 lakhs and it can go up to 15 lakhs also. But this is only starting. After 4 years, both companies will, you will have similar salaries. Let's say one of your friend may have joined product company, you have joined a service company. After 4 years, if you ask what will be our salaries, your salaries will be similar. Because initial salary doesn't really matter in VLSI. Later salaries increase very significantly. For everything, the important thing is the work. I mean, how well you do the thing, how well you learn during that initial 2 3 years will decide everything. Okay, right now, talking about functional verification and physical design, salaries are similar. Physical design engineer may get 5 to 10% more. Let's say you get 30 lakhs, he may get 32 33 lakhs. It is possible. Reason is their work is bit hectic compared to functional verification. Physical design engineers sometimes has to work in the midnight also. Their work involves almost when the final phase comes, their work starts. There they have to spend full night and do, so that has to be compensated with little higher salary, right? That's the salary they get additional. But once it is 30, it doesn't matter whether it is 30 or 32. Correct, right? 2 doesn't matter, but your balance will matter. I mean, how work and life balance will matter. So there you can choose which is the right domain for you. Next, after completion of the course, there is no hiring from the company's side. What can you do? We don't, as an institute, we don't commit that you will get placement in February. We don't tell you that you will get placement in March. What we tell is 100% support till you get a job. It could be 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years also. Till you get a job, we continue to support. And during that time, you continue to attend the mock interviews, you continue to get the placement support, right? uh, Sometimes what happens, market could be down. See, last year same time the hiring was very good. Now the hiring is down. There are few things institute cannot control. What institute is there, what is there in the institute? We can give you a very good training, we can connect with the companies and get the companies for hiring. But if they don't hire in, they don't want to hire due to some reason, market is down, that we cannot impact. But what I can do is, till the time next things comes up, I can continue to support you. Even when things come up, I'll provide you the placement support. That commitment I'll give you. I won't tell you that 6 months is over, so I won't consider it. I will not. It happens that after 1 year they won't consider you. That problem you will never face in the institute, because I understand that you might have joined at a time where the things were not good. So I can't give you the disadvantage of it. So you continue to get the support. As a student, what you have to do is, what can I do? Means you have to be motivated and try to become expert with the subject. That automatically gets you some or other opportunity. Next. How AI affect the design verification in job field? AI can have effect. I mean, it's just a AI, right? Artificial intelligence. It can automate the things to an extent where we may have 10% job cuts also. Not immediately, but over 3 years, 4 years down the lane, if 100 people are there in the industry, instead of 100 people, same work will be done with 90 people. That is possible. So if you don't want to be in the 10-20%, your skill set has to be upgraded. There is no other option, right? You can't fear about AI and stop working. You have to learn how can I still be better and be relevant in the company. See, simple logic is you have to be relevant in the company where they know that you are an important part of the company. Then nothing will happen. That is the thing you have to remember. How can you explain about the course fee? So I would suggest you please talk to our manager. They will explain you because the course you want to enroll might be different. There are multiple courses. Please talk to our manager. This is the number. They can help you. You can make a note of it, and it's there in the institute website also. They will tell you about the course fee and everything.
Where have you sent the number?
2019 password. Can I join? Sorry, I will send it in the chat window. Okay. Is there any weekend batch for verification? Sorry, I'm a 2019 password. Can I join the course? Okay. So this is I don't want to point anyone. This is the kind of grammatical things we want to correct. I'm really not pointing this person. See, there is a little grammatical mistake is there. So this is where we have a soft skill trainer to help you improvise your English, because when you go to interview, he wouldn't bother whether you came from Bangalore or some rural place. For him, he matters how good are you with the communication skills. There is no sentiments like you came from village, so okay, a little bit less English also fine. No, everyone they need work to be done. So there you have to improvise. That's where we have a dedicated soft skill trainer to address these kind of things. Okay, let's say join the course. What is the placement perspective for 2019 pass out as a gap is there? It is still possible to get a job. There are companies who hire people because of the gap only. For actually, I have seen a lot of people getting placed because of the gap. What companies will do is they hire you, they show 2 to 3 years of experience internally in the company itself, then they project you for client projects. If you are 2005 pass out, then it's a problem because long gap is there that they cannot do anything. You look like an uncle when you join a team. Freshers are there, you look like an uncle. So there they find it very difficult. I'm telling you really, that's the scenario. But if you are 2019 pass out, you are in the same age group, they don't have any problem. They hire you, they project you as a 2 to 3 years experienced person. You can still get a job. For anything, the only one criteria is performance is the only criteria. After that, anything can be taken care. I told you 2005 pass out also, I told, right? Even if that person performs well, even he can get a job. It's just that what happens with 2005 pass out, I told you, right? They will come with lot of personal commitments. They might have got married, kids, lot of things. There they get distracted. I want to suggest same thing to the freshers. Don't reach that level where things become difficult for you. I mean, whatever seriousness a 2019 pass out will have, you won't have fresher. 2023 pass out will not have that seriousness because you haven't seen the reality of the job market. Lot of things he has seen. 2019 pass out has seen the difficulty. He has gone through that 4 years where he has seen the difficulty, what it takes to work, what it takes to get a salary, everything. So realize the importance and utilize your time properly now. That's the only small suggestion I can give you. Okay, because once you become 3 4 years gap now, gets bit difficult for you to cover up actually. Next, is there a weekend batch for verification? I told you, right? Weekend batch is there. That is called as e-learning course. You enroll for e-learning, you're automatically enrolling for weekend batch. As a fourth year BTech student, what course will you suggest for me? The thing is, as a fourth year BTech student, you will not have lot of time. You have to do your BTech project also. So in that case, I would only suggest to do one course every semester. Verilog during 7th semester, for example. If you're already good with Verilog, you start with system Verilog. Based on what is your current expertise, you do the next level of course. System Verilog in the 8th semester. You ask me, I'm not doing everything, I didn't do UVM. That's realistic. Because if you try to do everything, what will happen? Your project will get impacted, your other courses will get impacted. But within the limited time, these are the things you can easily do. And once you come pass out of BTech, you do the remaining 2-3 courses. That gets over quickly, you can start looking out for the job quickly. This is the realistic possibility. Let's say you are also very not so good with digital, you do digital and Verilog. It's not the number of things we do, it's the few things, but what depth we learn is important in the job actually. Even when you go to job, you don't need to say that I know 10 things. You say I know only 2 things. I'm very good with 2 things. You tell confidently. You tell them that I learned only 2 things, digital and Verilog. You ask me anything in digital, you ask me anything in Verilog, he will interview. If you are very good, he will hire you, even if he knows that you don't know system Verilog, you don't know UVM, because the companies like that confidence. What is that they understand from that is one subject I gave you, you learned in a so much depth. That means new subject also you will learn in the same depth. So that's what companies want. They don't want you to be expert with everything. Few things, but lot of depth is what is required. As an institute, even we try to do the same thing. We spend more time. For example, I know an institute which completes system Verilog in 1 month. I spend at least 2 months because we need to give that much depth, time to go to that depth. Okay, so that you will see. Okay. So these are some of the questions. Let's take. mm, this we have discussed. Okay, go through these remaining questions. Anyone attending online, if you have more questions, please post in the chat window. Um I am a, this is the next question. I am a 2017 passed out, presently working in SBI. Can I get a job as a fresher? Uh, as a fresher, no, because as a fresher, companies treat the last 2 3 year past as a freshers, right? If 2017 means what? By the time you complete your training, you will be 7 years gap. So you only option. I won't hide anything here. You have to manage. You have to learn subject very well, on par with similar to 2 years experience person, and try with some consultancy experience. That's in literal terms, fake experience. That's the best chance you have got. That's the first opportunity. Second is there are some companies who hire because you have education gap. I told you. Even if it is 7 years, if you are very good with the subject, they hire you. I have seen people getting placed also. But thing is, you have to, here the challenge will be you're already working in SBI, you will have a very good salary. You will have to start at a lesser salary, which will take 2 3 years for you to catch up. Let's say your current salary may be, for example, 7 lakhs. You may have to start at 3.5 lakhs. Then for you to catch up to 8 lakhs, it may take 2 years time. That patience you should have. Okay. Otherwise, it's possible. Only other challenge I see is you work in SBI, you will already have the commitments. Commitment in sense what? Work commitments, right? Every day you have to be there for 9 hours. Then where will you take out the time? Only suggestion in this case is you have to take out 3 4 months of medical leave, some leave, come seriously do the course and do. Otherwise, while working in SBI, don't do the course. You will be wasting your time, wasting your money. Correct, right? See, working in SBI, you go through a lot of stress. Working in a bank is not easy. You get hardly 2 3 hours free time. That also you can't focus because you are already stressed out. So with 2 3 hours a day, better you don't do the course at all. If you only have 2 3 hours and working in a different domain, someone working in VLSI it's different because you are already doing the same work. So 2 3 hours is addition to you. Working in SBI, you are working in a finance sector and you are learning a new thing. It will take you 2 years to learn everything. That time you lose a lot of focus. So if working in SBI and parallelly doing training, don't do that. Otherwise, if you can take out 3 4 months break, come to the institute, seriously prepare, then go back to the SBI and do job parallel you can do. Because that 3 4 months will give you that start, which you can cover up even while working. I hope it is clear to you. The person is clear to you. Can you please read the next question, everyone? Okay. Next question. When it comes to DFT, is that we need to learn scripting compulsory? Just analyzing the codes in the existing file, give the simulation runs. See, learning scripting is important because when it comes to DFT kind of flow, right? You need to do something called as TCL scripting, tool command language scripting. Tool command language is how you give commands to the tool. That language you need to learn. That, if you ask me compulsory, it's good to learn, very good to learn, because when you learn, your skill set gets improved and you become, your profile gets improved. So it's good to learn scripting, and it won't be just analyzing the code. Good to learn the scripting, but not immediately. Over 3 4 months down the lane, as you start training, there you can learn. After completing the basics for 2 months, then we get an idea of choosing the particular course. In digital design programming also included. See, digital design programming, I'm not sure what exactly is the programming someone is referring to here. Yes, after 2 months you have a very good idea. See, during these 2 months you keep talking to the people, you keep reading the internet, you keep referring to the resources, you get to know what is what. So you have people from other domains also staying with you, right? Let's say you are joined the training, you have some people in the same group who who are from different domains also. You can talk to them, understand what is that domain is there, which domain is interesting for me. Accordingly, you can choose that domain also. Verilog programming will be there in the initial 2 months. I mean, if you join front end, you'll get the Verilog programming also. Is there any course going to start for DFT or physical design? Yes, DFT, physical design, everything is starting on 21st of August. All the courses are starting on 21st August. I told you 1 month is common. That 1 month, every course will start together. FPGA, functional verification, DFT, PD, everything will start. Which has the highest number of jobs? Is it DFT or DB? Tell me which one has higher jobs. DB only, right? I told you DB has a lot of requirements in any team. Accordingly, more people join in the DB training. DB training has a lot of people joining in the course. Let's say I have 50 people in DB, my only 15. Okay, because when you ask your senior, he will tell go and join design verification. Very few people suggest join DFT. Okay, my suggestion would be you should not go by the openings. You should go by your interest. Over 2 months, you explore the things. See, for you, losing 1 or 2 months is not going to be a problem at all. But getting that maturity about the subject and choosing the right domain is more important than losing 1 2 months. So we will give you the flexibility to explore it. Okay. Every time new technologies are getting in VLSI, how these courses are giving job. See, new technologies won't impact you. I will tell you one thing. What is the? I was talking about DFT. What all techniques we talked about DFT? Scan, ATPG, compression, BIST, built-in self-test, JTAG. All these things, compression, were there 30 years back also. Scan was there 30 years back. Forget 30, at least 20 years back it was there. Around the time where I was doing my BTech, scan was there. Automatic test pattern generation was there. Compression was there. BIST was there. Built-in self-test was there. Now some new thing has got, like JTAG has been updated to iJTAG. The number of updates happens in VLSI is less. Similar to house construction. Has the house construction changed last 30 years drastically? Similar, right? Some improvements happened, but the overall structure is same, right? Same way in functional verification, that is BV. In 2000, around 2005, system Verilog happened. That system Verilog and the system Verilog I am teaching today, both are same, with some 10% change. Understood? Whereas when you go to software, it's not there. Was there artificial intelligence in 2005? Was there big data, machine learning, or was it all there? No. Software changes a lot. Hardware doesn't change, because finally the same thing you're manufacturing in a better manner. That's all. Okay. Only thing is, as an institute, we try to do the things which are more relevant to the current requirements. Okay. There may be an institute in the same context. I have seen their resume in 2010. In 2023 also I have seen their resume. A big institute. Resume exactly will be same. Okay, projects, 3 4 projects, 3 projects, let's say. Will that be the how industry works? No, right? Industry changes. As an institute, we try to adapt ourselves also to the changing requirements. Projects, we offer the projects in line with the industry requirement. Let's say in the industry, people use something called as register model, which you probably won't understand today. We teach register model, how it is used, how the test cases are developed. Because you should be relevant in the industry. People should not tell where did you come from. I mean, you should be able to contribute into the job. Okay. Again, that is not going to be one time. I mean, one way effort. It's a bi-directional effort where you should also have that passion to learn the things. This I have already answered. Will there be any impact? There could be impact. 10 20% job cuts can anytime happen, because a company starts using AI. They may automate some portion of verification. They may automate some portion of DFT, which you cannot say whether cuts will happen, won't happen. I cannot tell. But what I can tell you is, if you learn the subject properly with passion, you will always be in the job. Next, I completed my MTech in 2008, working as a faculty in engineering college, but I have passion to work in VLSI field. Is it possible to get a job? I told you that if you are working in a faculty in an engineering college, my experience has been that 95% chance that you will get a job. Any faculty who comes and does training in VLSI, they have a 95% chance of getting a job. Two, three reasons. One is they are already working as a faculty. They have a good understanding of the basics at least to start with. Second thing is they come with a realistic expectations. Someone with 2008 working as a faculty, their salary won't be as high as VLS engineer. I mean, to talk very frankly, they won't expect 30-40 lakhs to start with. They'll expect realistic. Companies like that actually. Companies also don't want to pay 40 lakhs. Companies want to pay a reasonable salary and get a good employee. That's where these people fit into. Faculty fit into that bracket where they're dedicated, they come with the good basics, they're stable. Once a person joins as a faculty, he will be stable. So companies prefer hiring that people actually. I've seen that as an experience. Companies do hire. But of course, for everything, the subject expertise is the starting point. If you are expert with the subject, you will get a job. This gap should not be a big problem to say. Next, for people who opted for weekend batches, the concepts are covered again as done for weekday batches. Not every concept. If I do full week training, let's say 24 hours, can I do all the 24 hours on weekend? It is not possible, right? If I have to do that, I have to do the training for 12 months or even 14 months. Hence, we won't do everything again, but you can always selectively ask this topic I want to repeat. The trainer may pick some important concepts and revise everything. As you get access to all the videos, you can anyway go through that videos and list down all your topics, and you can ask those things during the weekend sessions. Next, I am much interested in designing IP cores, processors, and microcontrollers, RISC, MIPS, and CISC rather than verification. What course will be better for me? You can do a course on. We have a course on RISC 5 ISA. We have a course on ARM V8 architecture. We have a course on SOC design flow. There is a dedicated course on SOC design. Okay, you can do one of these courses. It will be helpful for you. Next.
Sir, then like, mm, do I need to join this front end verification for
No, you
freshers?
should not join. You should not join that. But the thing is, only one thing you have to remember is, as a fresher, they won't hire you directly for these roles
Okay,
because as a fresher,
so
they don't take. Yeah, please tell.
okay, so sir, then what course should I take? Like,
Uh,
especially.
See, you should still start with. If you ask me, you should still start with fresher course only. After 2-3 years, you should be targeting these things because let's say you learn ARM V8 architecture, company won't hire you because you are a fresher. They don't expect you to design the IP course. So you may be very good, but the companies have a different level of expectation from a fresher. So you
Okay,
should you
so
should do a fresher
if
course which will give you opportunities as a fresher. You get into the industry after 2-3 years, you choose a domain which is interesting for you.
okay, so even if I'm very good at designing these things, like if I'm fresher, the company will hesitate to hire us, right?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Next. Is it possible to have class timing after 1 p.m.? I can't commit that because see, we have the limited trainers. With that, we have to manage, right? Sometimes trainings can happen before lunch also, after lunch also. But as I said, mostly we wind up between 9:30 to 4 p.m. We wind up everything as much as possible. How much hour? Mostly we do 4 hours per day. It could be distributed 2 hours theory, 2 hours lab, a 1.5 hour theory, 2.5 hour lab. It could be distributed. You may ask, why not 8 hours? It's not possible. See, if I do another 2 hours, you will be exhausted. So there is a limit. 4 hours is the limit where you can sit for a session in a day. Beyond that, you don't benefit out of the course. Beyond that, every hour I do, it's a negative effect actually. If any student has not cleared out, then what is the possibility? You can see every day in the evening, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., trainer will be there in the institute. You can go to him. If you are offline students, you can clarify doubts from him offline. If you are online student, you can join through the link and talk to the trainer and get your doubts clarified. The trainer will be available every day between 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. in the institute premises. That's it. Today I covered some topic you didn't understood today. Evening you can go to the trainer and get your doubts clarified. Because different students have different levels of grasping level, right? I can't go very slow, I can't go very fast. So sometimes at my pace some students don't understand. They can always go to the trainer and get your doubts clarified in the evening session. Next, I am at 2000. This is something we started recently actually, because we thought that is required for the people who are not able to cope up, so we started doing that. I am at next question. I am at 2017 MTech pass out, currently working as assistant professor. I told you, right? It is possible, very much possible to get a job. I mean, my experience is that 95%, if you put effort rightly, 95% you can get a job. And DFT is one such domain. Not as a fresher. Companies, you should not try as a fresher. Some experience you have to show, and through that you have to get it. Or otherwise, you have to try for the companies who hire people with education gap. Do self-paced learning course people get printed material? Yes. Anyone who enrolls for the entire 6 months or 8 months course, we provide the course material. What is the program of soft skill development preparing for the placement, sir? See, program of skill development starts from day one itself. There is no specific day after 6 months for skill development. It happens from the day one. It starts with learning the technical things like digital, Verilog, SV, UVM, and it starts with learning of communication skills, soft skill training. It's a continuous running process. And we also help you with updating your resume properly in the proper format. It should look like a professional resume, not like just a some random word document. Properly how to use the internet resources. So there will be some portals which will help you prepare your resume in a very compact manner. So those kind of inputs also will give you, we will sit and make you do that. Okay. And we'll also give you the project explanation. See, for example, in our website itself, we have given the project details. You go to the projects, you get the explanation here itself. For each project, every project we do in the course, everything you see, mostly we do it. Every project you see here, we do in the course. Only thing that recently we have been skipping is this one thing we have been skipping actually. Because it was getting too heavy for a student to handle so many things, we started skipping this one. Otherwise, everything else we do. Every project you go, you will get the detailed description. I mean, what is the project is about, what student learns from this project, everything we have. Same thing, you have to put it in a different manner. I'm not asking you to type each and every word. Can you put what student learns in project in the resume? You have to change it, right? How will you change it? What learned? What was my responsibility? That you have to change it. That much smartness is required. Many times students even don't do that. If I tell update your resume from here, you know what they will do? They'll just copy, paste it. I'm not telling one or two cases. 20% cases people will do exactly same thing. They won't even figure out what is written here. Just copy and paste. That is what I mean by basic IQ level. Basic understanding of what am I doing? Is it relevant? That level of question. Like that, every project has a detailed explanation. Just have to understand it, put it in a resume. That is where I might have said, if you do all these projects, you will be on par with a 2 to 3 years experience engineers. Just do these projects, you'll have enough expertise to perform at a 2 to 3 years experience level. And even coming to the placement support, it's a ongoing process. We'll conduct mock interviews, written exams. Wherever you need support, the trainer will be there to support you. Next, I think we are mostly done. 12th percentage also matters. Yes, it matters. I mean, sometimes companies ask percentage throughout the academics. Sometimes companies will say, what is the BTech percentage? Depends from company to company. So my point is, if your percentage in 12th is less than 60, can you do anything going back 6 years and changing something? You can't do, right? What is the best you can do? Next 8 months, forget whatever happened. Next 8 months, give your best effort and become very good with the subject. So percentage at that time will not matter. If you're very good with the subject, if you're confident, percentage will not matter at all. You will get opportunity. uh, Person with career gap but with decent performance gets placed in product company as a fresher? No. Unless you have some contacts, you won't get placed. Because see, getting into a product company, frankly speaking, is not going to be easy. If a company, Qualcomm, has to hire, will they hire from NIT, IIT, or will they hire from normal college? I mean, I don't have anything against, I'm sorry, don't want to discriminate anything, but what is that they will hire? A proven college. Why proven college? They know that those guys come, they're quick to grasp the things. Person from a top college can quickly grasp. Even if he's paid another 5 lakhs extra, he will do the same work quickly without any mistakes. That confidence they don't get outside. That's the reason. So, but if you ask me, can't I never, can I never get into product company? No. After 2 years you can always get it. Even here from the institute, people get into product companies. Let's say onsemi, Samsung, Microchip, Micron, people do get. But that there is a bigger chance for you to get into a services companies. I'm being frank, okay? I can tell many things. I will People get hired in Sams, but the numbers will be less. 2 people, 3 people. But same Samsung goes to, let's say, IIT or NIT, they will hire 20 people from there. Okay. So that doesn't mean that you can never get into product company. You can get in. You have to join any company, learn the things properly. After 2 3 years, you get into product company. Any product company you take, not everyone is from top college or anything. There are a lot of people who came from Wipro, other companies also. So you just have to understand that point. You can always learn the things and get into a bigger companies. What exactly placement support involve? I told, right? Placement support means what? Helping you updating your resume, helping you with the right set of projects, then adding you to a WhatsApp support group. We will have a job support group for the DV, a different group for DFT, different group for PD. You will be added into that group whenever we get the requirements from the companies. We keep connecting with the companies and companies connect with us. We post those requirements in the group. As and when you need job support, I mean, you apply to the company and further we help you with the entire process. That is what is involved. Then once your interview is done, we also analyze where the things have gone wrong, what could be done better. Okay. Support involved means, and the support will be till the time you get a job. It's not a limited time like 6 months only you get, or if you don't get, no, not like that. Till you get job, you continue to get support. Next, if I skip, next question, if I skip 2 months or 3 months after 4.5 months, then is it possible to continue with the new batch where I left the course? It is possible. Up to 1 year you can rejoin the course anytime. Let's say you join for 3 months, you take a break for 4 months, you can again come and rejoin. So we won't tell you that you have to continue in the same batch like that. You have the flexibility. What is the difference between e-learning and online training? See, online training is, what I refer to online training is 6 days per week, 4 hours per day, Sunday off. E-learning or e-learning training is the access to all videos plus live weekend training. I mean, this is also available in offline also. E-learning means what? You have access to all videos which you can watch anytime at your convenience. Over the weekends, you attend the training. Sometimes, if possible, we may even do weekend evening sessions also. We may do sessions in the evenings also, depending upon the number of people available. Even now, it is happening actually. In some cases, trainer coordinates with the students and does the evening sessions also. Can you list few engineering subjects on which we should have strong command to understand the course better? Okay, only one subject is digital electronics. Okay, other than that, I would sincerely suggest you to do non-engineering quantitative every day 20 questions. That's all. It will do wonders for you. Every day 20 questions. Whether you understand or don't understand, try to do it. After 6 months, you will realize a difference in your overall IQ level itself. Problem is the people don't take that seriously, that I have to learn, I have to become a good with aptitude. That focus you have to develop. If you ask me, I have 1 month gap before joining the course. What I tell is, don't do anything, just do some quantitative aptitude, because that level of IQ level is required to pick up anything here. Because anyway, other digital electronics, everything we teach, I can't do a big batch for aptitude. Aptitude is not something you someone teaches you, something you learn by yourself, by practicing, by learning those techniques. Okay. I think mostly we are done. Another 2 3 questions, let's take it. We are done with another 5 questions are there, let's address this. Okay. For a person with 37 questions, for a person with career gap, will you help with info of consultancies which will give you experience? Yes, if you perform. See, for me the point is, if a student performs well, institute will find 10 different ways to support. If you don't perform well, institute will find 10 different ways to not support us. If you don't do well, I will find a reason not to support us. I mean, what do you mean by not support? I know that if you don't have the capability to learn the things, I can't recommend you anywhere. But if you perform well, I'll find different ways. One, we find in our contacts, is there any company who want to hire? One, we see, is there any consultancy who will give the experience letters? Then we see, can we use them in the institute temporarily so that they get some salary and they learn the subject better? We find different ways to support them. We try to even push them in the companies who come for fresher hiring. That is if you perform very well. You don't need to be super expert. We should get an impression that you, given a task, you learn the things, you know how to do the things. Okay, so yes, we will help, but that is already that is depending upon your performance during the course. Next, 38, is custom layout course suitable for MTech passed out with around 3 years gap? Yes, it is possible. I've seen people who are getting jobs in custom layout with 3 years gap also. In last 2 3 questions, as the recession is going on, it's very difficult for freshers to get placed as per the current market scenario. Also, if I see the LinkedIn post, there is maximum number of jobs are there for experienced engineers, like 2+ or more than that. So when companies will start hiring for freshers? See, how it works is, uh, I don't know whether recession is there or not, but what we do here is layoffs are happening in some companies. Even VLSI, I will be frank, VLSI also layoffs are happening, but not on the scale of VLSI company. I mean, software companies. In software, let's say they are laying off 1,000 people, 10,000 people. In VLSI, it could be in tens or hundreds. Okay, but there is always a need for skilled peoples. VLSI job, every job like software, everything is a skilled job. If you learn the skill properly, people do get job. Okay, even if the recession is there, you can still manage to get a job. But thing is, it could be little difficult. I mean, what was there 1 year back, you could have easily got a job. Now you have to put little effort. But having said that, will you stop learning the things? Is there any alternative for you? Let's say assume recession is there for 1 year till 2024 end, recession is there. For example, a worst case. Will you do something else? No, right? If you have some other option where you feel that you could do well, that's fine. But otherwise, if you feel that no, this is the only better alternative I have, so you have to forget recession. You have to join and you have to be more serious. That's the reason for you to be more serious about the training now. Because you are, with limited opportunities, how can I get a job? So you have to be more focused. I would suggest you should not take it in a negative manner. You should take it as a reason to be more serious about training and learn the subject properly. What I have observed is recession may be there temporarily, market will again come up. It happened in 2008, it happened in 2019, it may happen now, but market will again come up. But again, the summary is you learn the subject properly, you utilize the institute resource in the best possible manner. You will get a job. Next. I have completed BTech, MS in telecommunications from abroad, came back to write government exams. I have a career gap of 7 years. Will I get a decent job? Again, what would be the answer for this? You can get a job. I mean, it is very much possible if you learn the subject properly. You may not see when you say decent job, you may be talking about the salary part. Let's say if you are expecting 10 lakhs, probably it may not be possible unless by looking at your MS, if some product company hires you, it's good. But otherwise, there is a chance that you may have to start with a 3 to 5 lakhs bracket. Then after 2, 3 years, you can always get into a better job. I mean, I always prefer giving a realistic picture rather than showing some unrealistic possibilities. See, there are people who get jobs in product companies. People start with 14 lakhs, 10 lakhs also. But that percentage is less, 3%, 4% of entire 100. What is more percentage is 95% is into this bracket only. So first 2 years you don't work for salary, actually speaking. You work for learning subject very well, becoming expert with the subject. After that, what you get is your real salaries. That's how people always look at you should always look at the jobs. Because the good thing about getting into a job is once you get into the job, that will automatically take you. Let's see, even if you start with 20,000, 25,000, eventually after 3 years, you will not even realize that your salary has reached 12 lakhs, 15 lakhs. That is one thing, good thing in VLSI, where when you switch the job, salaries don't rise in 20% like that. They rise based on your experience years. Next, how can we go through self-paced courses? Is that classes are recorded videos of the online classes? Yes, these are the recorded videos of the online classes, but in a processed manner. Let's say I've done 4 hours lecture now. I won't give 4 hours video many times. I'll cut it into 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or 30 minutes videos each based on what is the topic I'm talking about. You will get a processed video there. And all that. EDC, what does it stand for? Electronic Design Circuits. Whatever. If it is the case, yes, it is also required. Some knowledge of this is also required for VLSI jobs. Okay. Any other questions? I think we are all done with. Yeah, someone is asking from 21st onwards, self-paced course can access. See, for a self-paced learning course, you don't need to wait for anything. You can enroll now itself and you can start now itself because the videos are already there. Trainer will be there for doubt clarification. You don't need to wait for any specific day of training. You can start anytime. Any other questions in the class? Those in classroom?
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah.
Hello? Yeah, sir. Sir, this will these online classes be held in this GoTo app, this GoTo meetings?
Yes, the same app that we are using. Online classes will be held in the same app.
Sir, I'm facing a lot of video issues. Like, I've tried using the browser and the app also, um, and the desktop
Uh,
version also. My internet is quite good. Like it's not.
my point,
It's like yeah. Okay.
we can support you off this after the session, but uh, till now, not many students have raised the concern. See, my point is, if every batch, let's say 3-4 people say is not good, not good, we would move to different platform, Zoom or something. But in very less cases, like you are one of the students who is raising that, I am facing the issue. So we need to understand why that is so. Because you see, at one point there were 50 people in this training, and you are probably one or two of the people who are facing the issue. So we have to take it as understand what is the issue. But otherwise, this is the app we use. Reason is, for us, it's very convenient to record the video, upload. Lot of flexibility is there in this app. Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, what you can do is always whatever topics you miss, you can go through the videos, because anyway we are going to upload the video of that session same day. You can go through that videos also along with that.
Okay. So it's those videos will be uploaded in this in skill website.
In skill website, yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Next, one more question. Is this the last batch to join at 21st? Okay. Every 5 to 6 weeks we start a batch. 6 weeks we start a batch. Next batch might be in the third or fourth week of September, around 23rd or 30th of the September. There will be next batch. Uh, for DFT training, what is the NM technology that's going to be trained? Let's read this question. DFT training going to be trained on for next months. Actually speaking, for DFT is technology independent in general. The techniques we use, scan, ATPG, they don't work specific to any technology. But if you ask me specifically which technology we use, we work at 28 nanometer technology. But again, it doesn't matter whether you learn at 28, whether you learn at 14, you learn exactly the same skill set. It's not like a PD where the things differ due to technology. Yeah, they don't differ much. Next. Can I switch to e-learning, from e-learning to online classes? It is possible. Everything is possible. Only thing is the fee accordingly might differ. Let's say e-learning we charge lesser fee. Live online training we charge little higher fee. That difference you have to pay and you can switch. Institute will be as much as possible will be flexible to the student. Uh, okay. Next. I think Rahul, you can call us. We can answer because it's very specific to you, right? While working in
Okay, sir.
SBI, as I get 3-4 hours daily. Yeah, early 7 to 9. Medical leave is not possible. See, what I said is, you don't start with entire course. Firstly, you just start with only only Verilog. That also Verilog language only. That will cost you 6K plus GST. You try it for 1 month or 2 months. You keep a target that I want to finish this course in 1 month. After 1 month, you do the realistic assessment, or we can even conduct mock interview for you. If you do well and if you are satisfied with your preparation, then you can do the entire course. When you do entire course, we'll subtract, of course, that 6K plus GST. But what would have happened is you would have given a try for 1 month. You'd have spent only lesser money. At the end of training, you would have got a realistic assessment. Is it possible for me to do or not? That is the suggestion I have. Otherwise, if you end up
Okay, sir.
taking entire course, in between you drop, things gets difficult, right? Refund, all that. We have our own policies. Rather, I would suggest you start with a smaller course. There you make a decision after
Okay, sir.
that. Okay. So that would be, I think you should do that, because now that the thought has come into your mind, there is nothing wrong in learning a language and spending a nominal amount, and you figure it out whether it's working for you or not. If it works for you, if you are satisfied with the learning you had, then you can go for that. That you won't even have the regret that I didn't try at all. Okay. Yeah. So any other questions? I think we are done with mostly. Any questions in the offline?
Material will be provided. Materials.
Once you enroll, we'll be providing. Down there will be material. Let's say you enroll, they will provide in the phased manner. Probably they may give you. Let's say you enroll for DFT. Initial part of the material they'll give you. Once the DFT main course starts, they will give you that corresponding material. Fine. Thank you, everyone. We will end the session. Someone, Vinayak, you have any questions since you have raised the hands? Okay, fine. Thank you,
No, sir,
everyone,
I
for
don't have any.
joining the demo. Okay. So only one thing I want to tell is, in case you want to enroll for the course, my request is don't wait for Wednesday, Thursday like that, because it unnecessarily gap will be there, right? That whatever every day you miss 3 4 hours of session. That is a gap actually. So in case you decided to join the course, you take it up. But if you want to take time, then you take the time and then join. But if you decided, don't wait. Yeah. Online student, any questions?
When will the advanced training will start for DFT?
Advanced training actually started today. Advanced means without basics, it started today. You can still get the demo video. You call the number. I have given you the number, right? Institute number 9986 194
Uh,
191. We will provide you the details.
okay, okay. So today, when it is started, I didn't get any details for the demo session
No, no,
for advanced DFT.
you, no. Advanced DFT means, are you a fresher? Are you an experienced person?
Experience 1 year.
1 year experience. In that case, you need to inquire for DFT advanced course only. So you call that number or you WhatsApp on that number. We will
Okay,
give
okay,
you the schedule for the DFT advanced.
okay.
So he is talking about advanced course, which is different from the full course. Full course is basics plus advanced. He want to
Yeah, yeah,
directly start in advanced. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, sure. Thank you, everyone. We'll end the
Can
session.
you
So you
can
call that
you
number,
give
they
the
will provide you the.
number? Can you type it? I didn't note it down.
Okay, I have. I'm chatting in the. I'm sending in the chat
Yeah,
now.
sure, sure. I will note it.
Please, did you get that?
Yeah, yeah, got it, got it. I will contact them. No issues.
Yeah. Link. This is the
Okay,
link
thank you.
where you can get the projects.
Okay.
There you refer to the projects tab. Okay. You can copy it. We'll end the session here. Thank you, everyone.